All right, yo, listen, we're recording right now. It's not live, but we're recording. The video has started. What's up, guys? I'm going to start the Podbean feed in 1 minute. Here comes my co-host. Hasn't started yet, only the video. Alex Rabar has decided to join us.
I see that.
Just kind of shoot over or under. You're on video right now coming in, so the whole world saw you that you were late.
I didn't know. The camera just dropped.
Yes. How you doing? Good, buddy. How are you? What's up, Oof?
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you, man.
Get over here, give me a hug.
Josh,
What's going on?
this is a Shootin the Breeze production, dude.
Waiting on you.
So, that's your mic right there, and that's their mic over there. All right. Alex is playing a character tonight. We don't know who it is. He's going to be revealed in a couple minutes, though.
He's playing Rabar. And his name is Dalton.
We're recording right now, so I don't know if you just watch. I don't know if you want to watch what you say, but
Are we live?
no, we're not live, but we're recording. I'm going to hit the Podbean thing
So
in
you're
uno
gonna
momento.
edit. Oh shit.
All right,
Whatever.
guys. Josh, you ready, brother?
I'm always ready.
You got it, man. You know you got to
Yo,
talk
what's
close
up,
to the
bro?
mic.
Oh, how you been, man? Good.
Hey,
Right.
Josh, how are you? Nice to see you.
You too, dude.
I'm like in the middle of two retired cops. I feel like I should break the law.
You can.
All right, you're not gonna do nothing.
You could have before.
All right, everybody, and welcome
wait,
to
wait.
Shootin the Breeze. That's right, we are back, Shootin the Breeze, and Josh has just walked in the room, uncharacteristically of my partner here. He's never late, but he's been a half hour late. What's going on, Josh? Important stuff, I know.
Yeah. My son came home from school. He had a doctor's appointment today. His first doctor's appointment that was not a pediatrician.
All right. Wow. So listen, we are doing Shootin the Breeze tonight, right? So we have two special guests
in
here.
college?
He's
You have
21
to
now.
talk a little closer to the mic there, Mr. Special Guest. Please reveal yourself.
Meaning, say your name. Don't reveal yourself.
Don't reveal yourself. Just say your name. This guy's a special guest who said he would never come on the show, and he's got a lot of funny
this
stories.
is the second time I've been told not to reveal myself today. My name's Alex. How are you? Nice to meet you.
This is my good buddy Alex Rabar, who I've wanted to get on this show for a long time, right, Josh? Because
Oh,
he's
yeah.
going to have some gold tonight. We also have another special guest who's got a lot to say, and he'd be amazing on this podcast, too. So please, special guest number 2, reveal yourself.
How you guys doing? First off, I wanted to say hi to Wayne and Garth, and thank you for having us over. Joe Yuva, signing in.
See that, guys?
Thank you.
So
Very
tonight,
much. The
Josh.
Really.
So tonight, Josh, we got 2 of our buddies here, right?
Yes.
And we haven't done a Shootin the Breeze in a little while, but I think tonight would be a.
4 months. Just 4 months. That's it.
And I feel so bad. Look, now we're live on the air. You can hit me as hard as you want now. Go ahead.
Oh no. It's good. It's all good. I understand you. Back to work. Been busy. Your sports one took over.
Yeah.
So I fully understand.
Whatever. We'll talk about that later. Well, go ahead, Joe.
Do I need a hat? I mean, I'm looking at my guests, and everyone's in a cap. I don't know.
No, I think it's good that you don't have a hat.
All right, thank you. Okay.
It's definitely good you don't have a
I
hat.
feel
You
better.
could borrow the cowboy hat I brought.
The cowboy hat.
It's
Would
here.
you like the cowboy hat?
Let's do it.
I'm going to put the
can I
we're gonna
wear
put
I
a
don't
cowboy
like to
hat.
wear it indoors.
I don't know. It's kind of like that old Sesame Street. One of these things just aren't like the other.
Right there.
Oh, here we. Oh,
Cowboy hat.
this has Uva written all over it.
It absolutely
Right,
does.
Hold on a second.
Oh, there we go.
It's a little
Got
bit.
it.
There you go. Now that's Mr. Joe.
can't fill that.
Joe. I don't know how you do a
got
country
a big-
accent, but.
You can't fill that.
And
hat.
his name is
Uva.
Dalton.
All right, guys. So listen, I want to start off by saying live on the air that we have 2 guys that are very good friends of ours, and our families are very good friends. And you guys have just hit a spot in everybody's life that we thrive. You guys are still in good shape. You guys have just retired. Now, both you guys are retired police officers. Am I correct?
That is correct.
Yes, and Alex, I haven't seen him in years. You are in great shape, dude.
Thank you.
From the last time not that you
Yeah.
weren't in good shape before, but you had the dad bod going on, the middle-aged man bod going on. But I saw pictures your wife just posted your last day at work, and I said to Shay, I'm like, holy crap, look at Alex.
Yeah.
Dude, it's 75 pounds. It took 2 years to do.
Yeah.
And dude, it looks like 20 years age difference.
I know. Like, I look back at old pictures, and I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah.
But it's 2 years of running. It's 2 years when I got picked for that training program down in Virginia. It's 2 years of running, and I just kept running, and I'm like Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump. Now, what
But
do you
I
call
only
it?
go like 2 miles.
Yeah, but listen, that was very, when you told me, like, when you got invited to go to that thing in Virginia, that was pretty cool. Like, that, tell us how that came about, because that was a pretty cool thing that you did, and it came about in a weird way, though, right, for you?
It came about just. It took a long time. It took 12 years to get picked for that, and it was a great program. met a lot of great people there. A lot of networking, a lot of friends I'll have forever. Some of them were just at my retirement walkout the other day, and it was an experience. It's like, I'll sum it up this way. It was going to college with money in your pocket for 11 weeks, where I got paid to get college credits and work out.
I think to me the best part
Speak
about
closer to the
that
mic, Jova.
was It was they didn't discriminate, because if you look at you and your career at the end of your career, and they still picked you.
Yeah, but
as opposed to like maybe picking younger people to do it. I don't know. That's just, I'm not an officer, but just what I saw, and I was like, my boy Rabar, congratulations.
So yeah, since I went, they've
Well
changed
said.
that rule, and now you have to have under 15 years. So because
okay,
you know you don't stay in the profession long enough.
Right. Now, do you think that the both of you guys, I could ask you guys about this question. Do you think that the training that the cops have gotten, the police department, in any facet, like, where you guys have retired from, New York City, do you think that there needs to be more training? Do you these guys need to do a different type of academy? Like, if you look at the New York City Academy, they go, I don't know how long it is. It's like, what, 6 months or something?
6 months.
Like, do you think, those guys are properly trained at 6 months, to go out there in the street, and become police officers? Like, you know what I mean? As far as now, what I'm saying, though, is I think a lot of kids they put on the street now are scared. Whereas opposed when you guys became police officers, you guys became cops because, you wanted to do your job and protect. And, you guys weren't scared because I think some cops they're scared, some of them, because they get put in these neighborhoods and they're given a gun.
I don't really think it depends on the amount of training, because it's going to sound weird, but the best training you get as a cop is on the street. Because you can do book stuff, you can show videos, but until you're put in that situation, and people are going to say they need more training. Yes, but then if the more training they have, the less people are going to be on the road. And it's not just the training, but like Alex just said, a lot of cops get complacent. New York City has one of the best training programs. When I was in the NYPD Academy, they had people from LA coming in to watch. All over the country, people were coming in to watch the training. But what they need to do from here on out is, once they're done with that academy, there's no further agility in a lot of places. There's no more running. There's no more tests to keep in shape. So a lot of these people you look at are like, how's that guy going to catch me?
Yeah.
So I think that's what they have to start doing more. And it's also good for the officers so they don't get complacent and they don't get lazy and they don't get heavy. It's better for your health if they do like an agility test every year, every 2 years, or every 5 years, just to keep them motivated and keep in shape.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the whole profession as a whole, and Josh will tell you, from the time when we started, has completely changed. Mm-hmm. But it's like any other profession. Policing has evolved over 200 years. I mean, you look at the founding, the Pelian principles of policing, and then you move forward, and then you start to see, okay, when our parents were growing up, the cops rapping the nightstick and if you told him he has to go to sensitivity training in 2023 or de-escalation training, he's going to look at you like. So we've come a long way.
Right.
We've come a long way, and there's always room for improvement in any field or career. But I think it's on the right track, and I think body cameras have shown more times they get police out of trouble than they get them in trouble.
Right.
And transparency is important today. And there's people who make mistakes, and there's people who make mistakes in the medical profession, in the law profession, and every other. But we are the most visible form of public government, and we're always scrutinized, and everyone has a camera because it's always out in the public.
And the thing is, like Alex just said, the body cameras help the police now because now they can show the other side, which a lot of times you don't see on the news, you don't see on the TV. They show the very end and what happened, not what led up to it or what happened afterwards. It's just they put them in a negative light. And again, like Alex said, you don't see the news talking about the doctor that left a syringe in someone's body when they were operating and that person died. You don't see that. But you see a cop who reacts to someone who pulls something out of their pocket, and you have a split-second decision, shoots him. Now he's villainized, but that doctor who killed someone because of his mistake,
Right.
they don't get anything publicly.
Yeah. Exactly. Like even like Joe, and not comparatively, but like we work in a profession where we could actually hurt ourselves. Like they work in a profession where you guys just retired from one of the more dangerous professions in the world. Like me and Joe could like hurt ourselves, but like you guys are out there like basically for the last couple of years, the last 20 years with targets on your back. Like Alex, you were right by Newark, dude. I mean, Newark is I mean, for lack of a better term, it's a cesspool over there. And like you guys walked around with targets on your back, and you guys had to fight. You know what I'm saying, Alex? It's like
That's why I tried to stay in the office a lot.
Yeah, man.
Especially at the end. No,
He laughs, but he's right.
No, but you know what I mean? I hear you, dude. I hear you.
It was funny. When it's over, I was glad I could actually walk out and say I never harmed anyone. I always every interaction that I could start with respect. I mean, some go shitty right away, but 99.9%, you can control that narrative.
Right.
And I left with and I'm sure Josh did too, and he feels this way. I left proud. I left knowing I did the right thing for the 28 years I was there, and I can hold my head high and find my next chapter. Which for the first 3 days of retirement has been eating gummies and watching Yellowstone.
Fantastic.
So that's the Rabar.
Fantastic. I love it.
That's the Rabar we know, Rich, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So when I watch the video of him leaving, and I say to myself, "Wow, who is that man?"
Yeah.
And there's two Rabars. It's like the law enforcement guy, and then the guy who's like the fun guy with all of us. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Now, not to take away from Josh, but first off, thank you both for your service.
Absolutely.
And I truly appreciate it. And to Josh's point about the training, and I don't know much about the law enforcement, but it seems like you guys had to do more and more training of pistol training and like constantly going to a range and shooting and practicing your shooting. Is because I talk to a lot of guys that work in the city and they're cops, and they're telling me that's what they do.
Each department has their own mandate on how many times you got to qualify. Our department was once a year.
Okay.
New York City, I think, is twice a year, possibly. I'm not sure what it is now.
Okay.
But I don't want to say it like this, but people are amazed at the little time that majority of police officers spend shooting a gun. But the thing is, majority of police officers don't ever use their gun in the line of work.
Because that's because you guys. I mean, that's
Some never pull it.
Comes out,
Some
right?
right.
Never
Some
comes
never
out.
unholster.
right.
It stays in their holster the entire career. But that's one of the things, like I said, that's what people view. But the other thing, like Alex said, is the main thing nowadays is verbal judo. And like what you said about Alex. Like when I first met him, I didn't know he was a cop. And a lot of people that first meet me don't know I'm a cop because
I didn't know you were.
we get paid to be police officers. We're not police. You know what I'm saying? That's
Not
our
what
job.
defines us.
Exactly. But there's a lot of people, though, Alex, I know you know, that on the job, off the job, they're cops.
Oh,
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You know they're cops. I got paid to do that. I came on at 28. I don't know what time you.
19.
Oh, wow. You were young.
You gotta
So
see
you've been
that
a
picture
cop
of
your
him, dude.
whole
It's all
adult
I know.
life.
He's just splitting him. Sean and him. He looks like Sean sitting there. Like as far as like we see his son's over here all the time, Sean, and like it's the splitting image. You look at that picture, Alex. He looks just like you, dude.
Well, I mean, listen, if he's listening, right now I'm wearing his jacket, so
Yeah.
I might resemble him right now.
Well, you know what's funny too is like when I could speak with Alex first. I have a question for you, Josh. I know it definitely takes a definitely mental toughness to separate what you guys do as far as, like you said, you guys coming and hanging out and being coaches and being our friends and coming to barbecues and being those fun guys that we hang with up here. And then you guys got to go to a place where you have to kind of become a different person. Not even a different person. You have to become like a person, like, you have to be a cop then. Like you have to, unfortunately, you have to appease the public. You know what I mean? Like you have to make sure that you hold yourself in a different light these days because of all the cameras and stuff. And Alex, I witnessed that firsthand with you because I remember when I met you. We instantly hit it off and became great friends. Our families became great friends. But when you took me to that Rutgers game, me and Aiden and I think Jack and Sean, we went to the Rutgers game. We walked into that stadium and Alex, you like a superstar. So no. The point being, I'm saying is like. You're this guy. You were at my house like 2 weeks prior to that. We were doing like keg stands. I'm just saying, not really, but like literal, But
probably
then this is Alex, the police officer, who's the respect from everybody that was in uniform and people in the area. I was like, this is Alex. This is crazy because you so very. It blew me away how much respect you walked into that stadium, the chief and the players and the coaches, like and then you see that you have to, and you're that guy in Newark. It's like, well, you have to uphold the law.
But I don't change who I am.
Right.
And I think the reason that I have had such a nice turnout for my walk, I don't know why it happens to me. I went to that FBI class, and I was the only one that the director of the FBI talked about in his graduation speech. I get picked out. I think it's just how you treat people. And I've always tried. And listen, there's sometimes when you move up in the ranks and you have to discipline people, and some things. Listen, I don't discipline anybody. You discipline yourself, because I didn't do it.
Right.
You did it. I just had to look into it.
Right.
And whatever the recommendation comes down, and I have to carry it out.
Right.
However, those are few and far between. The way that you treat people, and not only the public but your own employees, I think one of the biggest things in policing that's coming out now is police officers are more willing to talk to somebody if they need help, if they need something. They're more willing and open, especially the newer police officers.
It's very important. Like me and Josh talk about that all the time. About it,
They
opening up.
And there's those outlets for them if they need them, and they're confidential and they're there. And I don't think you don't have to be that kind of what you had to be when we started, this super tough guy that nothing bothers anymore. You can say it, that is fucked up. You take it. And they teach us now to tap out. Hey, you're getting a little overheated. It's a de-escalation tactic.
Yeah.
So I think just the way, I don't think, I've seen other people of rank not get treated that same way. I think what it is how you treat your people and what you do to your people.
I do know you left as a boss, correct?
Correct.
And the way you just said it is how it should be, but I've noticed, and you probably noticed also, a lot of people that work their way up let that power go to their head, and they forget where they came from, and that they also work with those people. That now there's a difference also when you become a boss and you were working with those people, you're close friends with them. Now you're no longer just a friend, you're a boss. But you can also be the boss without being an asshole also.
Yeah.
And being, there's a certain way. And if you treat the people with respect and also let them know that you're still the boss, and look, there's a huge difference between asking someone to do something and just telling them to do it, even though, because I know a lot of people that I became bosses with expect stuff and didn't do it when they were the police. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, it's a tough road when you're a boss, but it's also like you can't just go from here to here and then it's respect my authority.
Right. Exactly.
It's not going to work that way.
Yeah.
And you end up learning throughout your career as you move up who's really your friends, because the people who are really your friends understand that.
Of course.
One of my best friends, listen, my chief I just retired from, my deputy chief I had before him, he was 10 years ago, we're still best friend. You know why? Because I worked for him. And I knew we could have a good time Friday at the bar. But I never, even when we were out, I'd call him chief. Or I'd call him captain, whatever, whoever it was. And I just knew when we got to work, it's a different.
Yeah.
You got to be able to flip that switch. And
Absolutely.
if he's got to discipline me, or if it's a she and she's got to discipline me, so be it.
Yeah, I hear you.
It's on me.
Right.
It's not on them.
Now, Joe.
I just want to.
Yeah, I was going to ask you a quick. Go ahead, Joe.
I just want to add that if Alex was meeting his captain at the bar on a Friday, it just didn't end on Friday. It was
No, we
it was
usually
an
go to
excursion
Saturday.
for Alex, and typically I would get a phone call or somebody
Exactly.
would get a call, be like, "Hey man, come and get me," and
Yeah.
I will say, I'll be there for that man right there. Okay,
Absolutely.
so we kind of segued a little bit, and then we have like two two professionals here, right?
He's like Kramer when Kramer takes up against the
So-
Merv Griffin. Well,
hold on a second.
You kind of pulled that right away from you too. You're talking, and Joe's
To the
like,
point.
So
To the point.
exactly.
we're talking
To the
this
point,
way.
hold on a second. To the point about Kramer, and you guys were saying that everybody makes mistakes. I mean, Kramer put the junior men in the body when the guy was getting operated on, and he survived. He lived.
Now,
Yeah, but he
All right.
but he didn't survive
He
the
threw
mistake
it
he
in
made
the-
Now,
after
Joe,
signing.
now,
It
Joe.
was
after
He didn't
that.
survive.
after this, all right, now Joe, after this comment that you just said, I have a question for you because I was
Go
going to
ahead.
segue into kind of the similar situation that these two run into in their jobs. You have a very important job where
We
you
do.
are. Now,
we both do.
no. You probably more than me. You do more than me because the
Those
fact that
adoption
you
specialists.
like what you do is you have to deal with animals like me. Is what I'm saying.
I
It's like,
do.
so, and I know you as a friend, and like, so you
Yeah.
walk onto a job site, Joe Uva with his clipboard and whatever you have, and you're setting up the cranes.
well,
and,
hold on before you say that, Joe. What do you do so
Exactly.
people know that's listening that don't know
He's an
you?
erection specialist.
Exactly. An erection
amazed.
specialist. Exactly.
So he's working right now then.
I'm working. I'm always I'm always on call. It's just a matter if you get to use it all the time.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm always on call.
Now, Joe, everybody
I-
out there knows I'm an iron worker. I go in there and I set all the
Yeah.
stuff, and I know I work with cranes. But you're actually the guy that goes in there when the job starts, and you set up the crane. So you have a
That's
very
it.
important job. So you have to kind of separate the two as well.
Correct. Listen, I mean, for me, I'm a regional director for Skanska, right? And I cover the Northeast, but my territory kind of spans throughout the U.S. because I'm always helping out wherever there's a problem. But the key to it, and I think these two said it, it's respect and communication. And if nobody has faith in you or respects you when you're coming on to make decisions, they're not going to look at you and they're not going to trust in what you're going to do, right? And that's a fact. And that's probably pretty much in anything we do. And then what's the key after that is the communication. Because once the communication breaks down, then you got bigger issues to deal with. There's always a way out of a problem.
Yep.
Okay, but if you're in the problem and something already broke down. So to me, when I go on, I have such a great relationship with a lot of people. Some of them like me, some of them don't, but I'm okay with that because I'm not there. I have a job. I'm here to make sure
You
you
have to
guys
be
are
okay
gonna
with
do
that.
it, and that's it. Now, Rich, I know your point because you saw me in the airport a bunch of times, and you was like, you'd be pointing down, or I'd get a call from you, and you would see, and I'd see Rich up top, and I'm like, Rich thinks I got an important job. And I'm like looking at him. He was like 90 feet up in the air, setting steel. And I'm like, dude, I'm on the land.
And I'm like 130-foot boom, like dancing up there, yelling, going,
I'm
what's
on
up,
land.
Joe?
I'm yelling on the land, But to the point, he's in that man basket. It's just him and somebody else.
Yeah.
So it's like a partner in the police car. If that guy, you don't trust one another, there's big problems.
Yeah.
So, but listen, I think we all come from a pretty high stressful backgrounds and what we do for a living, and these two gentlemen right here,
Absolutely.
they're living life and death every day. I
Yeah.
appreciate everything you did.
Yeah,
We do it every day in a different light.
exactly.
All right, but we're not out there. We're 9 times out of 10, you and I are pretty much out there trying to protect ourselves, like you guys are. But we're not saying, oh, the next person or the next person. We're kind of like saying,
Yeah.
how do I get out of this situation?
Like it's
I
even
wanna go home
it's
to my
even kind of
family.
like it's even like kind of like when we're dealing with stuff like even as far as long as I'm in my career right now is like if I'm doing something kind of dangerous, I don't want to have a partner that's just anybody. Like you want to have the guy that's that you just
We
got to
all
trust.
have bad days, right?
Of course.
We
And
all-
I
we
listen.
all have
I had
bad
and my
days.
buddies at work could attest. I had the worst day about 11 months ago, and I just kind of had a nervous breakdown at work, and I just went nuts. And that was it. But it's just because that was just like Josh, you were there for me for a lot of that, and it was just a culmination of stuff throughout the years. Like, like you said, sometimes those high stress situations, they just get to you and you don't realize that you're acting a certain way until I had a huge fight with my partner, the guy I've been working with for 12 years. And I spent every single day with this guy. And it just stuff was building and building. And I just got into a big fight with him that day. And I just walked off the job. I took my stuff and I just didn't go back. And I literally had, I think, a nervous breakdown or midlife crisis, whatever you can call it. But it's just we work in situations where we don't realize how much stress we're under until we actually stop and we breathe. And we're like, holy shit, I'm getting up at 3:30 for 23 years. It's like I got to worry about this. I got to worry about that. And it all comes up on top of you. And then we have work to deal with also. So at some point, we just explode. And I think that's what happens. And I think maybe we were so used to saying, I'm fine, right? Everybody says I'm fine. And Alex, you just said about the police department having more outlets now because it's okay for guys to say I'm not fine because we are going to have these outlets. We need these outlets. And we flip out. If we have outlets and we tell somebody, a buddy, like, yo, I'm not fine, dude. And the great part about us is you guys will be there 100%, but yet a week later, it was like, if I tell Alex, I'm like, yo, you were fucking funny the other week. What the fuck are you doing? What are you crying about, dude? It's like kind of like, we can help each other and be there, but also at the same breath, break each other's chops about it and make light of it because that's what we do, as our circle of friends.
Yeah,
we make light of situations.
It's funny to make the little crack, but then you get serious and say,
yeah.
And 2 years from now, you're never gonna say, Rich, remember that time you told me and you were gay?
Yeah. Well, that's completely not
he
true.
Told you too?
I know, but
listen,
you tricked me. You got it at him.
I'm gonna listen. I'm actually gonna tell a little story
got
about
out
friendship
here,
right
Rich
now.
put
That's
it in
actually
you.
true.
Hey, are you sure you're not?
I'm going to actually tell a little story about friendship that's actually true. Let's rewind. I always tell this story. I break Alex's chops about this. He gets mad at me, but you know what? I tell it anyway. Alex, my friend, my good buddy, threw me into the middle of Main Street. That is the night that I realized that Alex is one of the strongest people. He literally picked my body up like I was a feather, threw me into the middle of the street, and said, I don't even know what he said. I picked up his keys and I threw them out as far as I could throw them. But we're still friends, dude. It's a funny story to me today.
Was this a block party or just?
This was the night of the block party, and we were at a bar, and it was late at night, and it just got a little crazy.
we got a little separated that night.
So Alex, listen, me being a friend, I didn't want Alex to drive home. Alex wanted to drive home. I took his keys. He didn't like it. And he literally, like the Incredible Hulk, threw me into the middle of Main Street, like Fishka. I'm like, whoa, I am not going back on that. I'm just going to throw his keys and run.
You think that make me stop drinking, right?
Not at all, Alex. But I love you, brother. It doesn't even matter.
Rich, you bring up like a good point about like the
Sorry
friendships,
about that,
right? That's okay.
It's a funny story to me, Alex.
There's four of us here, and it's like, what do we all have in common, and how do we get to this spot right here today?
Kids the same age that played
right,
a
and
sport,
I say
that played a sport.
and I know because for me, I was an outsider coming into. You guys, right? Your world. All right, relax, Alex. All right.
He thinks he's an insider.
I was never on the inside.
Listen, go over there, bang the jukebox, make it work.
No, it was Fishkill Little League.
It was baseball, and I live by this. And I say the one thing that kind of brought us all together was like the one thing that separated us, but we're all back.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy, and
Because
it was
if you
a
really think
crazy
about
path.
all those issues, who gives a shit?
I think it don't matter now.
Yeah.
But you know what? It was a lot of fun.
If you go back and think we're
but my
having
point-
hearings in the town hall, how absurd were we?
But my point being,
Who gives a shit?
Oh my God, the Little League board and that bulk.
hold on. So
That was fun.
Why did I give a shit so much? I don't know.
So my point being was like, that my first introduction to Rich wasn't like, hey, what's up, buddy? It was an argument on a field.
Absolutely.
Because he took time away from me. And then my introduction to you was you saying, hey, I'm going to coach you and go pick these kids. And I'm like, I don't even know what the hell's going on. And then,
My
and then
introduction-
Josh, I just met, at the field, and I ended up playing
My
softball
introduction
with,
to
softball,
my
yeah,
introduction to
pretty
Joe
much.
Uva was me walking on Shepherd, seeing D Field. I didn't have a field, so I looked at D Field. Joe Uva had like the 6-year-olds there. I walked over and just said, "Yo, I got this field, man. I got these 11-year-old kids." He's like, "What do you mean?" He said, "What do you mean? I'm on my team's practicing." I was like, "I don't know. Go talk to Mike Molina. I'm taking the field." And he was really mad at me. I felt bad, but you didn't really put up too much of an argument, so I was like, if he says one more thing, I feel bad. But that's how me and Joe Uva met. I had my practice on D Field, and Joe told Mike Molina, and Mike Molina yelled at me for it. But whatever.
But
that
we're
isn't
here.
exact-
We're here.
But me and you are here.
And Mike is not.
Exactly.
Yes.
He's not-
Exactly.
So the classic line to this day that I got out of all of that stuff that Alex said was, we're fighting in town hall. We're voting. We're doing all this crazy stuff. And Alex says, I'm going to start my own chapter in Swartoutville. Now,
He
people
goes from the
online-
handshakes parking lot to the other side of the handshakes parking lot.
people,
Put a fucking sign
so
up.
people are on this listening to us. They're like, "What are they talking about?" So Rich, Again, please explain Swarthouttville. It's probably 1 block long.
I don't even know where it is. I
right
know it's
here in
somewhere
your
between
town.
here and I think maybe the mobile station. I think
was-
it's like
No,
a,
it's literally
it's like a
about
30-foot piece of land.
500 yards before Handshakes,
Yeah.
which is a bar on 52, right? 82.
It
Fuck,
goes-
I mix
yes.
them up all the time. And then about another 500 feet afterwards, it's now entering, now leaving.
He says, I'm going to start a chapter
Now you say that,
of
I've
Little
seen
League
the sign.
Baseball in
There is.
Swarthouttville.
Alex,
That's
just so
right,
you're
you
aware,
got it.
Kara has just checked in. So just so you're aware, Kara has just checked in. Hello, Kara.
Warning.
So listen, before
All right, that was great,
before we
but-
get
but
away
we're all
from
here now,
I just
man.
want
I'm
to I want to get over. I want to do something with Josh here real quick before we get over to the
Meatloaf,
police
honey.
department thing.
Meatloaf.
Josh,
Ma, where's the meatloaf?
the one thing I want to ask you, and I'm getting away from the police department for a second, is like I never really knew anything about you being. You started with the New York City Police Department, right?
Yes.
Now, what age and like how long were you on the New York City Police Department? You obviously made the right decision quick and got out and went.
I was
went up
I went in July 2004.
to, okay.
I went to Mamaroneck in December 2005. So I was on the street. I got out of the academy in December. I was on the street I was on the street for a year in the South Bronx,
Okay.
down off of the 3rd Ave Bridge.
And it wasn't like a field training program like they have now, where they put you with someone for 3 and 4 months. Like
No,
it's like 3 days.
We
and
were
then
in the Impact.
You go.
You went from the academy, and I was older. I was 28 when I went in. I went in because I had one kid and one kid on the way. I needed a job that had benefits and a pension. The only reason I
Really
became a
great
cop.
choice, Josh. I just want to let you know, go to the police force when you need to have something going on for your kids coming up. But
Oh,
it
it was-
turned out to be
oh,
the best movie ever made.
when I was still in the academy, I took the Westchester test.
Okay.
But I was on the street in the South Bronx, and what people don't realize is it was, I think, 4 blocks away from Yankee Stadium, and there were shootings every night behind in the project. It's
really bad
and I would be walking, and there was Impact. They take you from the academy, fresh, green, and everyone knows too, because as soon as you go out, you have the new belt, and everyone walking around. Oh, look at the rook! Look at the rook! They'd throw bottles from the 17th floor down at you.
Steal your memo book.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
It was. I love being down there because I learned a lot.
Yeah.
But being 28, when I went up to Mamaroneck, they're like, it's going to take a little bit to get used to it because you went from guns and drugs to stop signs and house parties.
Right.
And I was like, nope, I'm good. Right into that role. And I was more community policing. Like he said, I'm like we're all the same type of guys where we can just talk to anybody and we can talk. And that's how I was. Even with the I hate to say perps, but the people you arrested, they would never did anything to me. So when I'd arrest them, I'd be like, look, you treat me like an adult, I'll treat you like an adult. And just converse like that. And they're like Alex said, there's times where it just goes south, but most of the time this is how I spoke to people, right? Like I never raised my voice until you have to, because as soon as you raise your voice, now they're raising, it's just chaos.
Yeah.
But it was always this type of talking, and it actually pisses people off more when they're mad and they're screaming, and you're just looking at them like this, smiling and talking in this tone. It gets them even sometimes madder, but sometimes it lowers it.
Yeah.
It's all, like I was saying before, verbal judo.
Yeah.
Policing is a lot about de-escalation. You don't want to go here. You want to get it down to here.
Right. That's my father would talk about that all the time. I know he's listening right now. My father was a cop in Brooklyn in like the 80s. You know, he worked in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, 7-7 precinct. When that 7-7 precinct, there was like literally like shootings, like, you know, 4 or 5 times in one day. You know, so, you know, and it's, and like that going back to like that era of policing, and you guys are kind of in that era of policing, like kind of like that neighborhood guy type, you know, guy that comes in, you know, not that you're from the neighborhood, but like I think that you guys are more equipped to de-escalate a situation when you come to a neighborhood guy, because not some kid that really kind of, he's sitting in a classroom for like 3 or 4 years getting a degree, and then he comes out of a college, you give him a gun, they put him in the middle of Brooklyn. I think you guys are just more equipped to just being that the men and guys that you are, more equipped to like de-escalate a situation like that, whereas somebody like that is going to be kind of be looking at a book. That was always kind of like my not my pet peeve, because I was not a cop, but I come from a family of cops. Even my dad had said it too. Once they started making cops have a college degree, all right, I think there's more of like, if the cops went to get a college degree, I think you guys had more street smarts. That I think that makes a better cop than actually, you know, learning.
they still have to
in
go through the
college. I mean, is
academy.
that true or not true?
They still have to go through the academy.
No, I understand that, but I'm saying, but having those 60 college credits before they even become a cop, I
No.
mean,
Doesn't matter.
It's the person.
It doesn't
That's-
matter. I think that was done, and a lot of places have pulled those back because of recruiting numbers.
Okay.
Have lowered their hiring standards, and a lot of them, like we used to, We don't require any number of credits. You just have to be 21 years old, have a driver's license, and obviously be able to pass a background.
Okay.
And that's even shady now, because I know when I was going through the NYPD, they were asking me, so why'd you get the speeding ticket in 1994? Now they have misdemeanors, and some people have felonies, and they're getting into the police academy.
Because they've lowered the standards of what they'll accept. Like in New Jersey, it's sanctioned by the Police Training Commission. Like when we were talking about shooting, so there's Josh obviously was in New York. I was in New Jersey my whole career, so there's different standards. And so like I had to shoot twice a year, and that's managed by the state for us.
Okay.
Like Josh has a different. So some of the things that we talk about might be a little different, but it's the same premises.
Okay.
And I think a lot of the times today, the biggest problem, I think and I know that we're in a data-driven universe. I know that we are, but we're trying to collect so much data that when these men and women go out there and they do one job, it might not even be a big job, but usually the person's going to be released at the end. And there are so many different portals, forms, things that have to be filled out, given to the victim, given to the offender, sent to this place. They spend 5 hours with computerized form filling out.
Right.
That could be more well spent on the street. There's got to be a way to speed that process.
Policing, right? I mean, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I know in the city it was called callers for dollars. A lot of people waited to the end of the tour to get an arrest, but a lot of times you didn't even want an arrest because it was so hectic doing the paperwork, and the bosses, if you miss one box, you could lose a day, you could lose hours. And it was like he said, there's probably 40 or 50 pages back. That was before like the computers. It was all handwritten stuff, and they were looking over.
And you'd get it back, and it wasn't like you could just go make the change and hit reprint. You had to go back and fucking rewrite the thing by hand. You better not fuck it up again, because you're just going to circle it and give it back to you.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy.
But nowadays, they're out before. Now I know they're released before you're even done with the paperwork.
Yes.
They arraign them, and
sometimes you don't even bring them in. It's a hold and release right there on the street.
Right.
Nope.
They don't even go in anymore.
Wow, that's unbelievable. That's crazy.
It seems like the standard, like you guys are saying, was lowered because they realized that they needed to get more people to apply and put themselves like in this, because if
I wouldn't want my kids to do this job.
Correct.
I wouldn't.
no.
So you lowering the standard to get more people that are going to come and apply, because they realize that they can get in with a
look at the media,
or I don't know all the terms, so don't hold me to it. So it would be like, okay, if you didn't have that class and you were just going in, you'd have a lot less people applying.
Well, it's not only that. When I first started the NYPD, I could have lived in the housing that I worked in. I got paid $32,000 in the NYPD. $32,000 with a wife and 2 kids in New York.
And they made you live in there.
I was just gonna say, when I was in they actually, before it used to just be the 5 boroughs in Long Island, and then when I got in, it was Westchester and Putnam. And I don't know, how did you live in New York and work in Jersey?
It changed after.
All right. I didn't know if you had an aunt that you lived with in Jersey.
What's amazing about that rule
in the city that had an aunt that lived in Westchester, but they actually lived in Connecticut.
Like I said, what's amazing about that rule is like you could live in Montauk and become a police
Further out,
officer,
yeah.
but you can't live in Putnam County, or you can't live in
Jersey.
Yeah, and which is 15 minutes
right
away.
Across over the
we worked in Newark, me and my chief. I'm coming from Dutchess County every day.
Yeah.
It's like 80 miles. He's coming 88 miles from Long Beach Island. Wow. He's in the city. So it's just in the line that you drive over. Think about it.
Yeah.
It's really just a line
Yeah.
man created.
Yeah.
And you drive over it.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It's just that always amazed me. Like you can live out in Montauk, but you can't live in. But you work in the city. But Montauk is how many hours away from? I don't know. Just those rules are just weird.
Just like when I took the Westchester test, I lived on Long Island.
Okay.
But I moved to Rye, and they sent the results to Long Island.
Right.
I had to write a letter to say that I moved.
Right.
And show them proof that I moved before they would give me the letter.
Yeah. Right. Now think about, what they do is like, think about, all right, let's think about cops in like the 70s and 80s, okay? I think like everybody predominantly lived in New York City because it was affordable at the time for a cop salary. Affordable, to a degree that to raise a family in an apartment in the 5 boroughs, I guess it was affordable. You need one salary, like you struggle a little bit, but everybody lived in the city relatively. Everybody started moving out of the city around the 90s, so that means everybody started, leaving the city. So they wanted people to still stay, so they started giving you an extra 5 points if you lived in the 5 boroughs, or stuff like that. But I just think it's just normal because everybody moved out of the city to just kind of change those parameters because nobody that lives in the city could afford to buy a house. Like you can't afford to buy a house in Brooklyn or Queens or on a police salary. So they have to get rid of some of those restrictions because a cop should be able to live as long as he makes it to his job that day. Why are you going to penalize somebody for having to live in a city where, listen, I work there every single day. New York City is a fucking cesspool. It's disgusting. And it literally doesn't matter where you go. There's people sleeping on the streets, literally watching people put needles in their arms, sitting on 42nd Street in Times Square. So who the hell wants to live in New York City now? They have to get rid of some of those parameters.
Not only that, but I know I worked in the town, the village. A lot of the people that work in Mamaroneck Village live in Mamaroneck Village. I would not want to live where I work because you will see those people that you arrested. They know where you live. They know where you eat. You could be out with dinner, not working with your family, and here comes Joe Schmo that you just arrested 2 days ago.
Right.
You shouldn't live because
I'm with Josh. I even moved out of the
You
state.
go further.
Yeah, absolutely.
because that could also lead to cops giving benefits to other people because they know them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, yeah. So that's just something that never made any sense to me. I mean, if you're gonna show up at your job every day, why penalize you on where you live? You know what I'm saying? Like Joe, where did you grow up? You grew up in Yonkers, right?
Yonkers.
All right. Now, do you remember how long were you in Yonkers for?
I was in Yonkers. Probably about 27 years.
Like from 0 to 27,
Yeah,
right? So when
yeah.
you were a little kid, like
Yeah.
you're a little older than me. So do you remember like neighborhood cops? Like do you remember
Yeah.
like Yonkers had like I remember that kind of
Yeah,
sort of
yeah.
like do you remember
Yeah.
like you knew the guy coming down the street?
Absolutely.
Like when you guys would get in trouble, like the neighborhood cop kind of you had a time
I
where
found the best way to deal with that was to date the cop's sister.
That's nice.
That's what I ended up doing.
There you go. So you
I
stayed out of
was in the
trouble.
Family, so I always had it in. But, it might not work for everybody, but that's what I
Dude,
did.
you fucked that shit up and got your ass.
I got it right. I blew it.
You
I blew
fucked
it.
it up.
I did blow it, but to your point, yes. I would see the cops. They would take me home. I would get in trouble with all of them, and then you'd see them at baseball.
Yeah.
And then I'd be like, "Oh, that's the guy that took me home, Dad."
Yeah.
And he would know it.
Right, but
Not
he
that
didn't.
they
But he didn't arrest you.
No, at those days, they take
Yeah.
you home.
Yeah, it's like
Because you would get in more trouble at home.
Yeah.
I would. That was home
Absolutely,
arrest.
I would.
It was
Yeah,
home
yeah.
arrest. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, Alex, you grew up in Staten Island, right?
Long Island.
Well, yeah.
Until I
But
was
how
10,
long? Okay.
and
We're out in Long Island.
then Lynbrook.
All right.
Yeah.
So how like when you were born, you were out in Lynbrook, right?
Correct.
So how old were you when you left Lynbrook?
10.
All right. So do you remember any like what was the policing situation like when you were young? Like how was like in Lynbrook?
I don't ever remember seeing a
No,
guy.
that's Nassau.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were in cars. They weren't on the street like
And
in the city in Yonkers.
it was a very quiet little neighborhood.
Yeah, you didn't have
My dad
foot
walked
patrol.
to the train station
Yeah.
to go to Manhattan every day. It was like a little outside New York City commuting.
Right. See me, I grew up in Queens, and it was a kind of a weird transition. Like I can remember being a kid, and like my dad was a cop, and like sometimes he would get driven home in the police car or whatever. But I just remember like the policing was more kind of like, hey, there's Officer so and so is. But I kind of remember like the transition to like Officer so and so being, hey, look, hey, what's going on, guys? How you doing? To Officer so and so being, listen, guys, stop putting the cuffs on all my friends and stuff like that. So. Because I think, like, maybe the violence got a little worse. Like, I didn't grow up in a bad neighborhood, but, there was fights and stuff like that. But the point I'm making is I kind of remember the transition that went from Officer so-and-so being this guy's like, hey, kids, we're going to bring you back to your mom and dad to, hey, kids, we're going to arrest you, put handcuffs on you, throw you in the back of the car.
That's also because you went from 10 to 18.
Yeah.
That cute thing you did when you were 10 is now illegal when you're 18.
Exactly. Yeah.
Being on the corner when you're 10, buddy, stop that. Pull your pants up. When you're 18,
But it's just,
put your club away, Rich.
Yeah, exactly. But I just I remember that, and I just remember that transition. Like, but I always looked at cops from a form of respect. Even if my friends like gradually went to like, oh, those cops are assholes. No. They're my dad is a police officer. He comes home every night, so they're humans. So you can't hate on these guys. They're doing their job. So I remember the transition from officer so and so, you're great, to officer so and so, get the hell out of here, and running from officer so and so. I also remember being in high school. And my high school issues, I got kicked out of one school, and then I wound up at Francis Lewis High School. But I remember, cutting class and being chased by the cop van. Officer Davis would chase us every single day. Officer Davis would round us up in the police car. They'd take us back to Francis Lewis. We'd get a note. We'd walk out, and we'd walk right back out. We'd walk right out the back door, and we'd get caught at lunchtime. So it was just like, it was a constant game back then. And then all of a sudden, then people started getting shot and fights. And then that's like when the violence started. That's when Officer Davis stopped just rounding us off. And and so I guess it went away. Basically, like, because we weren't like privy to a lot of like real violence, like these Brooklyn neighborhoods and some of the Queens neighborhoods, but it trickled into our neighborhood. So we were like, oh shit, like look at this, So we kind of thought we were tough guys, I guess, but we never really lived that, like, with these like kids that grew up in Brownsville. They fought every single day. The cops, shootings and stabbings, but that trickled into our neighborhood a little bit. But just talking about how the policing changed. I think it was probably around like the mid '90s, maybe, or like the early '90s, where it kind of like switched over, or maybe when when they had the video cameras and stuff like that, maybe. But
when did Giuliani come in?
It was.
A
lot of policing changed. Josh is right. It's
Yeah.
Julian and Bratton with the broken windows theory.
Yeah.
And when they cleaned up Times Square and they cleaned up New York City.
When they say by broken windows, it means you start with the petty crimes and start ending that, so it doesn't escalate into.
Yeah.
All right.
so I guess, so what are you talking like like when this idiot came with the no stop and frisk? I mean, I'd have to assume that that's a very important arsenal for a cop to have. Just like if you could just grab somebody, talk to them, and feel them out. I would think 9 times out of 10. I mean, maybe they wanted to get arrests, but now when you completely get rid of that, it's very hard to spot somebody that's got a gun or spot somebody that's going to do something wrong if you don't have the ability to go up to them and just say, hey, what's going on, buddy? How you doing? It's kind of like using your police tactics. But when you get rid of that kind of thing, it's like you guys lose your main job, like to talk to these people and see if they're acting funny, or if they might have a bulge in their jacket, a gun. That's something that you're thinking of, Josh. But you know what I mean? It's like, I think once they started getting rid of that.
The guy getting frisked, the cop behind him. What's that? That's my penis. Okay, that's your penis. Did you ever see that video? No, oh my God, he's like in a building and the cop behind him frisking him. And the guy like this, and he grabs him right here. And it wasn't like it was like down by his pocket. He goes, and he has a hand on it. He's like, what is this? That's my penis. That's your penis.
Now, Josh, like go back to you. Like
that wasn't me, by the way.
We know how you
on either end.
You grew up in Pennsylvania. Like you growing up in Pennsylvania, there's probably never a reason for the cops to even come find you guys in like some field. You guys are like getting drunk, drinking moonshine or something. Like there was you probably didn't see
You're
cops too
assuming
much.
that, Rich.
No, I know, but no, I know that. I know.
I
couldn't even
Philly guy.
No,
I was
no.
dead smack in the middle of
No.
PA. My uncle owned
You're
a
like
farm.
Tony.
Oh,
Listen, like I said, Josh will tell you, like he grew up differently than us. You know what I mean?
I didn't even see the cops.
Yeah.
We were in the fields. The only time, we didn't run from the cops because there was a cops in the city of Lock Haven. It was actually the chief police was a shoemaker.
Yeah.
I don't think he's related. But I never saw them, really. They were in the town, in the city. They call the city of Lock Haven.
The original.
Yeah.
But
We
we were outside. We were riding bikes. And
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's good. Like we grew up I grew up city like. We all grew up and you grew up in Pennsylvania. So, but again, that all being from where we.
See how I said that?
He did it
Yeah.
Condescending.
He did it.
I'm
We
not
grew up in the
condescending.
city. You grew up in Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
I didn't.
No,
I mean, listen, I grew up here.
Yeah.
When you're 10 and you get here.
Yeah.
Oh, so you moved up here when you were 10?
Yeah, come on. There was no cops in my neighborhood
Right.
over here in
Right.
Pleasant Valley, New York. It was,
Yeah. And I found that because my mother and father moved up to Brewster in 1990, and I didn't wind up coming up here till whatever, like 1995 or whatever. But I'm up here with my family now, and I love it. Like I said, and just like you guys, we started before talking. It's like we met each other through Little League baseball, coaching our kids, and we're gonna be friends like forever. Like we don't talk to each other for a couple of weeks, but you shoot out a text. You guys want to come and hang out and talk in a podcast? It's like of course, but because our lives get what it is, our lives get crazy because you know what? We're busy being good dads. That's what we're busy doing.
I'm not going to lie. I was pretty comfortable in my recliner when you called.
Yeah.
But I'm here.
Exactly. See?
I got a question
Yeah.
that I want to ask Josh. So You ever do like 23andMe for you, and see where you're back or?
Yes, I did the one of the ancestries.
What's like your strongest?
I was European, like German, the north part of Europe.
So here's my question. Do you think the first shoemaker was actually a shoemaker?
That's a good question.
No, I believe they were a Schumacher from
would-
Germany.
Oh.
From Germany,
be right.
and changed it to shoemaker. I didn't get the big package where it shows everyone your whole lineage.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure maybe over in Germany they were a shoemaker and Schumacher.
Yeah, you're right.
And I'd have
In
no
Holland?
idea, but anytime anyone ever, when I say my name and I start it SH, they're always like SCH. No, it's shoemaker, not Schumacher. So,
All right.
and that's so old. You know how many people, are you a shoemaker? Yeah, I never heard that before. Even now at 48.
Yeah, like
I'm
I
sorry.
wasn't asking.
I'm
you.
still 47.
I was
still
actually. It was
47.
a serious question.
No, yeah,
Like,
No, I do.
No, it sounds like a legit question because a lot of those names like Johnson, son of John, Thompson, son of Tom, like that's one of those, Johnson, All right, so listen.
Jackson. I would go down that road.
What the Johnson,
Stiffmans.
Stiffmans, Schiffmans, Stiffmans.
Remember the Stiffmans?
yeah.
All right, so we delved into our lives a little bit. Now let's get a little silly. Like we all like music, right? Now,
Go ahead.
all right, we're gonna talk about music now. Alex, you just walked in here with a cowboy hat before, right? Now
sir.
you're a country music guy.
I like all kinds of music.
Exactly.
I do
So I got a question. We're going to get into music a little bit, and I got a question that I'm going to
I
ask
can
you
talk
specifically.
All kinds of music. with you.
Exactly.
So
But the first question we're going to ask is going to be for Uva, because I know Uva's a big music fan, but Uva's also, Joe, I got to be honest with you. We started
ahead.
talking about music one night, and the music you tell me that you listen to and you love, I never in a million years would have pinned you to listen to Pantera, Metallica, and all this kind of stuff.
Good.
So I'm going to ask you a question now. We all know this music, but I'm going to ask Joe Uva a question right now. Iron Maiden or Metallica?
So, to me, it's an easy one. It's Metallica.
Okay.
And it's Metallica for many reasons of the ability to constantly just put out new, solid, hard music that still people listen to and they want to play it.
Even Saint
I'm
Anger?
not saying, say it again.
Even Saint Anger?
The greatest.
oh my God.
So I mean, I am an Iron Maiden fan, but I don't even know the
Fun.
newest.
Fun.
Well,
Say it like that.
because they're Iron Maiden.
We're
they're
getting
over-
civilized, Joe.
Right. I'm enunciating for Alex a little bit.
Fawn.
Not flan.
I didn't know you fucking Yonkers guys were so fancy.
Well, we came up. We
Sorry,
brought
Joe.
we brought
My bad.
we brought the enunciation to Duchess.
Shoemaker?
Schumacher.
I knew he was an SH.
He's a fan of Schumacher.
I knew it was an SCH.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, I don't even know a new song that Iron Maiden has put out. And again, no fault to anybody that is a fan of Iron Maiden. I'm just saying, to me, it's a Metallica all the way.
Yeah?
100%.
Where's your name come from? Like
Yuva-
your family one day,
Yuva
like over in
is-
Italy,
that's a good
it
question.
says, "Hey guys, we over here," and that's how your name
Yes.
came.
They
So-
just somebody
so-
erased
the
the
Italian
O,
accent,
and they made it a U. It was a guy, hey, Mr.
Hey,
Uva.
over here.
So when they were doing the Sistine Chapel,
I'm
right,
over here.
the guy who was up there was too long, and he was at the U's finally. He realized that it was too much work to do a HUVA, so he was like, "Let's knock that out and just go with the U."
God,
Yeah,
I
and
didn't
it's-
really know
and
you
it
had a
pronounced-
setup story for this.
Well, I mean,
But you know what's funny though? A lot of Italian last names have a story. A lot of Italians have a story, about their
Alex-
last
God, we
names.
had
Can't-
we had
you
to pull that
can't-
train off the track.
Next music question.
The guy's chiseling the Sistine Chapel. All right, let's
I'll
move
go
on.
with
Well, anyway.
Rich. I'm gonna go with Metallica for 200.
I agree with you. You shook your head. You're not.
Oh, Metallica.
Oh, when he said Metallica,
I
you
was
went-
never a big Iron Maiden guy.
Um,
I like Metallica, but I love Metallica. I just never. I couldn't.
So
Maybe I could
so-
tell you one Iron Maiden song. I just
I was
never
gonna.
into
I was
that.
trying to think of Iron Maiden songs.
All right, now I
So can I
Go
just
ahead.
can I just finish that point.
Of course.
Guy's still chiseling. Guy's still
Keep
chiseling.
going. Keep going.
Hold on a second. I got to get another
UVA.
hammer.
Him and Cliff Burton did the right before he died.
Just
they did
remember,
the,
remember one thing. It's only 3 letters and 2 are vowels. That's all you got to remember. All right.
That means you come from a bad family if you have a lot of vowels in your name.
It does. It really.
And
does.
I don't mean bad. I mean bad in a.
You know, it's
bad
funny.
way.
We were talking about that today, and I had a couple cousins that worked at the Hunts Point Market.
But there you go. But there you
You're
go.
a city guy.
Yep.
I
know.
bet they had a lot
Yeah,
of
I don't
vowels
know
in their
what they
last name
did.
too.
I don't know what they did, but they always showed up. But, you know,
Did you see them that year? You got us those hoverboards for like $10 each.
They fell off the back of the truck.
they always did. They always did. You know. But hold on. To Rich's
We'll get back to
point-
Metallica in a second. Joe was
No, hold
explaining
on,
his
to your
last
point
name.
about the Metallica thing.
Yeah.
For me, why?
Right.
This past summer, I had the ability and I was very, very honored to take my son to his first Metallica concert, and it was.
I heard you were
the
doing that.
greatest
That's
thing.
awesome, dude.
It was the greatest thing. First row and section 200, and my son Rocco was killing it. He was amazed, and to this day, he has now owned about 4 of my Metallica fan club shirts, and he wears them all the time. So
That's awesome, dude.
you know, it's Metallica for me.
You know, and it's funny that you say that because now that our kids are getting older, like all of our kids have listened to our music through the years, and they kind of got a little taste of like what we listen to. Like I hear my kids like listening to songs, like my kids, like when Jimmy Buffett died a couple of weeks ago, my kids are like, "Holy cow!" Because they know Jimmy Buffett. You know what I mean? Yeah. So they're the ones actually that told us we were on our way to Rhode Island that Jimmy Buffett had died. But you hear them listen to like I had the song.
P-Town?
What's that?
Were you going to P-Town?
P-Town. We were going to P-Town. We were going to Miss Squamicut.
He's
Miss
singing
Gobkin.
home, though.
Oh,
No, I went. I went to Rhode Island.
Oh, you did go.
I went. I'm not missing Rhode Island. I like Rhode Island.
All right.
But you made me lose my thought now.
you're talking about your kids and Jimmy Buffett. You're on
Yes.
your way to
No, the point
P-Town.
I'm making is like all of our kids are kind of like listening to our music as they're growing up, and I hear it in their in their music playlists and everything. Like I have a Billy Joel song that I attest to my 2 kids, that Vienna. It's like it's a beautiful song. The words are amazing, and they listen to that song all the time. They listen to the Doors. They listen to all stuff that we used to listen to. So it's really good to have our kids even have an expanded. What's the matter, Alex?
This is way more sensitive than I thought it was going to be.
It
do
could
you
be,
mean?
maybe maybe it's less sensitive and more relaxing.
Yes.
Maybe. All
Let's
right.
just say that.
So
Let's go.
so what do you want to make fun of Joe again? Let's make fun of Joe.
No,
Come back to.
I just don't want to
Josh.
get choked up here. Go ahead. Keep
No,
going.
I'm not getting choked up. I'm just saying that
I want to go back to Joe's name real quick. As soon as I thought of uva, isn't there a body? Isn't there a body part called the uvula?
Yeah. So
Is that the
listen,
little
so-
thing in the back of your
It's
throat?
it's the boxing thing in the back of your
So
throat.
to your point that you've never heard that before, I mean I've heard that 100 times, right? About your Schumacher.
Yes.
They say uva in Italy, but they say uva here, and the right way to pronounce it
Over here,
is
like
is,
I said.
Over here.
like
You
in
just said
when I
they
say over
over
here,
here.
in
over
it's
here.
uva.
So in
Italy.
America, they call
they it's uva, and they say the proper pronunciation is uva.
uva.
But they say uva, and all the uvas are okay with it.
All right. Did
So
they have a
wait, how do
meeting
you
like?
how do you pronounce your name?
Uva. I just say uva.
Uva?
Yes, it's easy.
No, but
easy.
the real one is uva.
Uva. Uva, yeah.
Ooh.
Why is it? Why I don't know. I'm not even gonna. Why was it changed to Uva instead of Uva?
Because of how they said it here and how it was, how
You
you
see
would
it.
write it, and
Okay.
then you see it, and how they
They do the long
pronunciate
long
it.
U and not the
Correct.
short.
You ever take your name and like sing it to Belle Biv DeVoe? Do me ooh.
Yeah,
Uva,
yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Perfect. Perfect last name for it.
You do that. I could see you fucking
Belle
doing
Biv
that to
DeVoe.
yourself in the mirror. I could see that.
I want to give my take real quick on Joe's point with the Metallica thing. Thank all right?
you, Rich.
I want to get on it just because the reason I have a hard time between the both. I love them both. They all have epic songs, but when I put on what do you call it? Live After Death from Iron Maiden. That is one of the all-time best live albums I've ever listened to in my life, dude. And listen to Bruce Dickinson scream "Run to the Hills," and that to me is what puts. Listen, I've seen them both live, and they both do a great job. But Bruce Dickinson's voice is epic up there on stage. Like he sounds like a hairband guy, but he's not. Like he's just like belting out these. Like you really see the Indians going through the through the back of the chasing the white men. This, that, and the other thing. So you guys
you're going to the one thing that everybody always knows is the trooper. That's where you're going when you say about the Indians and
Run to the hills.
Indigenous
No.
people.
Run to the hills.
Indigenous people.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, exactly.
The indigenous.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Number of the Beast with Vincent Price. Like
No
you know,
idea.
you're not a what do you call it, an Iron Maiden guy?
No.
Are you a Metallica guy?
Yes.
What's the most epic Metallica song ever?
One.
One.
That's
Quick.
the most played.
Okay, what's your quick, Joe?
Kill 'em all.
Kill 'em all. Alex.
Master of Puppets.
Yeah, so puppets. For me, it's Disposable Heroes, dude. Disposable Heroes is just so epic to me.
So to Rich's point, he told my son to listen to Disposable Heroes many times before we went into the concert. So I know where his. I think your
Did they
heart
play
is,
it?
They did not.
They didn't play it, huh?
No, they did not. They
All
did
right,
not.
well, hey, listen.
But we played it in the car. you
Okay.
know, so where are you?
I'm gonna have to say Metallica, but the live album, Iron Maiden's live album is. Just, I don't think there's anything more epic than that album live. Anyway, that's where I'm going with that. Josh.
Live.
Yes, the live album. But I'm gonna have to go with Metallica because I think that, and again, the criteria for best albums like ever, Master of Puppets by far is like top 2 or 3 best albums ever because you put that album on and you
What's
don't turn it
number
off.
one?
Black.
Oh, we're just talking Metallica?
No, we're not. We're just talking albums of all time.
Nothing's going to beat The Chronic.
Yeah.
Well-
all right. Let's.
So now we're going.
All right, Alex, that's a great point because I'm gonna have to combat that. That's what I wanted to talk to you about. Once we
2002.
No. The Chronic. The original. Not the second one.
now, Josh, you a hip hop rap guy?
Yes.
Okay.
Because my son listened to Jack when he was probably 9, driving to Pennsylvania. I think I told you this story. He had his iPod. I thought he was listening to music, but he was listening to Dre's Chronic. And we get out of the car and he goes, "Hey, Dad,
2001.
what's
right?
hose?" I'm like,
What's those?
it's what you attach to the house and water comes out of. He goes, "No, Dr. Dre, it didn't sound like he was talking about that." I go, "Oh, don't say that to your mom." And then he goes, "I like the beginning of Let's Get High."
Let's get high.
Let's Get High.
Yeah.
He goes, I'm like, "All right, what are you listening to?"
Yeah.
For 4 hours, he listened to Dr. Dre.
Okay. And what'd you think of that?
Well, at 8, and
No,
I think
I
he
know.
was 8 years old.
But the album itself.
Oh, great!
I tend to agree with Alex, but I think that's the second best album, hip hop album. I want to talk to somebody about this
You're
because
going Biggie. I know.
no.
He's
no.
going Wu-Tang.
I listen. Wu-Tang to me. Listen, Wu-Tang to me is probably. We're gonna talk about all around genres of music. They might be one of the greatest bands ever. I'm even talking Zeppelin. I'm talking Pink Floyd.
There's 40 fucking guys in it.
Bro, there's 9. Listen, there's not. I'm talking about bands. You're talking about bands. Like I know there's 9 of them.
Well, hold on. To me, a band's different.
Okay, why?
Because
A
they're
band playing an
They're all
instrument.
playing an
Okay.
instrument.
I would consider that more a group.
Group.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Like a band to me, it's
Like I wouldn't
the
call Boys
guitarist,
to Men
the
a
bassist,
band.
Correct.
like Boys
Yeah.
to Men's not a band.
They're not a
Right.
band.
they're not playing their.
They're not
'cause- all right,
playing the
so a band is they're playing their albums. They're playing their own
playing
instruments.
Yeah.
Okay, so-
and the band is part of it.
All right, so how about I say that I think the Wu-Tang Clan is the best collection of artists ever to be on one album.
Better than the Beastie Boys.
Close. Beastie Boys are close,
What if you threw Q-Tip in there with the Beasties?
but Q-Tip has done stuff with both, so you really
I
can't.
know. I was just trying to make
No,
it
I know.
one-sided there.
Yeah, but
You're talking about the Beastie Boys and Wu-Tang, two of my all-time favorites. So, and I do think Paul's Boutique is one of the most perfect. That's even more perfect than Master of Puppets.
Well, I think that's why when I say the Chronic is the best, because it's not just Dre on that album.
Mm-hmm.
It's more of like a group
Right.
album. You have Snoop on there. You have Lady of Rage on there. There's a ton of people on that album.
Yeah.
And that's what made that album so good.
Yeah, of course. But also, I mean, again, I'm going to bring up Wu-Tang Clan again. But if you listen to like what it took to make that album, it's like those RZA in his basement with the karate movies, and it's like all them together.
I don't know if I've ever heard a Wu-Tang song.
Wow, that's
Again,
good.
I grew up in PA.
Exactly.
So that
I'm
wasn't
glad you
on
said
the
it, not me.
radio. That wasn't on the radio. That like the first time I heard Eminem, my
So are you
cousin
saying that-
cousin came from Jersey and brought it on a tape, and I was like, "What's this? You didn't have that in PA."
So are you saying that when you crossed the border in Port Jervis, you told your son to turn off The Dre.
Yes,
and
because
get
we were
back
going
to
into the Commonwealth.
Right, you're like,
I
hey,
had him put on the straw.
Hey, listen,
the straw hat.
You
straw
gotta
hat.
do something.
He pulled his suspenders up
As
over
soon
his
as we get to
shoulders.
Port Jervis, that thing turns off.
I threw the straw into the back and said, "Put that in your mouth, boy."
So you're like, listen, once we come back to New York and we
And he
cross
went
the
from
line,
Jack to Ezekiel. Ezekiel.
right.
Listen,
Many don't know the Amish outlaws here.
He went to Christian music, and I get it. Josh, that's very valid. It's very
Hey,
good.
listen. Besides the Phillies and the Eagles, I lived in Pennsylvania for 10 years. I love Pennsylvania. I think it's a
have nothing
great
against
state.
Pennsylvania.
It's
I just think
Commonwealth.
it's too goddamn big.
New York is big,
People fight. They say
People will
they
say,
talk about the
"Hey,
Pittsburgh
you're from New
Steelers,"
York?
and then they say, "Oh yeah."
and they automatically
That's
you're in the
Pennsylvania.
city.
Where I lived in PA
think
was
you can go to
exactly
Buffalo in
3
an hour.
hours of Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And 3 hours
right,
of
Alex.
Philly.
So you're like
We were dead
in the
smack
middle.
dead. When you get on 80 in Jersey, I think it used to be like mile marker 340 something. We're at mile marker 175. We're pretty much right in the middle of PA.
Wow.
By snowshoe.
We're we're close. Yeah, there's
Right?
no.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, so,
that wasn't.
I mean-
that wasn't a joke or.
No, I
know
know
where
what
it
you
is. I know where
meant.
the exit is.
I
We're about
actually
half
on our
hour
way to
from
Ohio.
Penn State. Yeah. So now the snowshoe exit was the big, like the trucker exit. They had the truck stop up there, and that's where you would go to eat and stuff.
He'll know exactly where I'm talking about. So the elevation goes up so steep, and in June my retina detached, and they had put an oxygen bubble in my eye, and I had this tag on me said I couldn't go above it. We're driving through Pennsylvania, and I just feel
You're like,
pressure
Kara,
going up in my
Kara,
eye.
pull over.
No, she's going faster.
We just hit
She-
1,000 feet above sea level. My eye is
No,
gonna
he-
pop.
but
No,
He's
the
right, though.
pressure would increase.
Kara, pull over. Pull over.
It's a nitrous oxide bubble. It expands as
And
the
then she's like,
elevation.
"Oh my God, my breasts are gonna pop too."
There's nothing in those things that is not natural, buddy.
Kara, I love you.
No, you're right though. It's funny because snowshoe.
Quick, go down the mountain.
On 80, they get bad storms there. Like, people have died driving by snowshoe.
Oh, yeah.
It just goes from here.
Straight
So
up.
no dig against the Pennsylvania people, but to me, the best thing about Pennsylvania is the Little League World Series. That's where I stand.
And you know what's funny? I grew up going there every year, and I didn't want to go. And then I moved here. And the first time we were over in the
Yeah.
town at the Little League thing, they're like, "Well, Williamsport says." I grew up 25 miles from Williamsport. I looked. I think it might have been you or Mike, and I'm like, "Why do they keep saying Williamsport says?" They're like, "Because that's where the rules come out of." I was like,
So we're going back to like our roots, our four roots, right?
Yeah.
What was his name? Lem?
Amory Shelby.
Amory.
Amory Shelby.
Amory
was
Shelby.
my
Alex,
contact in was.
can I tell you one thing about Alex Rabar? If it's in black and white and it's written, do not challenge this man. Okay? Because
I read
he
those
will read the bylaws and live and die by the bylaws. So when it says reference to the Little League World Series or the Little League, he is on the phone with Amory Fisher,
Amory Shelby.
who's sitting in somewhere in Connecticut and saying, "Yes, we will allow you to start Swartoutville Little League."
They fucking had a party in Williamsport.
I still live by
As soon
that,
as I
Rich
moved
Murphy.
My kids to Cal Ripken, they had a party in Williamsport.
Well, like, how many teams are going to be Swartoutville? Maybe a half. I think it's 1 block long.
And I go
So
to
Four kids on the
82.
street. One's 18, one's 12, one's 9 and 4. I mean,
Right.
I don't know. It's hit or miss.
then I go to East Fishkill and I'm on the board. I don't say a fucking word.
Right.
I'm like, I don't give a fuck.
And just a shout out.
I'm not arguing against anything.
Just a shout out, Kevin McCarthy. He lives by this, and he will say the same thing. If it's in black and white, and it's in this man's hands, he will live and die by it.
Remember
will.
in softball when I pulled the map
"Well,
out?
I'd have to say that's because of his job. From 19 years old on, you have to know the SOP and this and that."
And it
Oh, we
changes
agree.
constantly.
Kevin McCarthy and I dissected this, and we
a great
agree
point, Josh.
completely.
Because you're like
Again.
that too. Listen, you're very detail oriented.
Oh,
Like you literally want, you
I wanted to strangle this guy.
So
You know, Rich. He's
Yeah.
oh, fly by the moment. I need.
Yeah.
What'd you say on that one text? I need to have spontaneity or something. I'm like, dude, there's two of us. You can't just call and say, "Let's do a podcast in 15 minutes."
Yeah.
So we're supposed to do the J thing over at Renegade Stadium. I'm like, all right, so what's going on? No, we're going to go over and announce. Okay, so we're gonna be up in the booth announcing the game.
Announcing
I don't know.
what?
Maria said we're gonna announce. All right, we're gonna do interviews too. Eric's gonna be there. 2 of us will be up there. Another person will be down the field. I'm like, do we have a box? I don't know. We're gonna be announcing. I'm like, dude, I need to know when what is going on.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
let's give him. We'll give him a sample. When me and Josh would go to something, and I'll give you a written sample. We would have an operational plan. It's going to tell us
Absolutely.
where Alex Rabar and Josh Shoemaker need to fucking be.
Yep.
Who we answer to.
Yep.
Where this thing goes. Where this is. Where this is. Where to get this in case of this.
Yep.
And that's all we know.
I know. And me, I'm just like, wait, what? What are you
I
talking about?
made him meet me over there to go to talk to someone, and then I walked up. Or do we have a booth? I'm not sure. Yeah, you guys can use this one.
Yeah. That guy wasn't too helpful though. Jeez.
Can I just close out the point I was trying to make?
Sure.
Is that
Are you still
Alex
etching
Rabar.
Michelangelo?
Alex Rabar?
Sistine
I'm
Chapel.
not chiseling anymore. Alex Rabar
Not
said
chiseling.
he said that he was going to have lights on a field in Swardoutville. He told Amory.
Yeah.
And
Well, you
this
know what
man-
though? You know what's coming next year is lights in Fishkill.
And we're all out of
Shepherd's
it, right?
Shepherd's
They've
getting
been
lights.
saying that for years.
Shepherd's
Did they
getting.
ever get a permanent fence around B Field?
They did. They did. There's a permanent fence there, and lights are coming next year at Fishkill Little League.
That's because the Renegades are donating them, right?
I don't know the exact who donated them or whatever. I just know that somebody did, and I know finally they got the okay to set them up and light up the field. I mean, that's going to be great for Fishkill because there's going to be hotels popping up, and we know, we know is what Josh going into these towns and hotels and eating, and stuff like that. It's a lot of money to come into the town. If we have a field with lights, we could have tournaments up there, and people come to Fishkill.
Listen, when we held the state softball championship there, it was great. And if we had lights, we could have had some night games. But I think that is one of the best facilities. And if you're not involved in the politics of it, it's actually, I still enjoyed it, even because none of that shit ever really bothered me.
Well, that's why
But-
they didn't have the fence, though, right? Because you guys were having the softball. Because
No.
I thought the girls' softball, they had to keep moving the fence.
No,
for the-
because you could just bring the temp in because it's shorter.
All right.
Yeah.
So you could
Again,
just,
I'm not blaming you.
Yeah,
I thought
no,
that
no.
was the whole thing why they took the fence out because you guys they were having the.
Can I just say,
And actually, when they get up to
before
12
you
years,
blame Alex
14,
Rabar
it's
about
200 feet
anything,
anyway.
Before you blame him, I just want to let you know one of the first times that I was announcing or part of announcing a game.
Oh, my
we were
God.
drinking beers.
I was just gonna bring
in
that
the
up.
upstairs dugout in the stadium, and I'm like, "This is the greatest thing ever!" And we're just getting hammered, and he's on the microphone,
Dude, one of the funniest things ever. I'm not going to mention the kid's name, but whenever this kid would get up, no, not even that. That was funny too. But whenever this kid would get up the pitch, he'd play.
Hated it.
It was the funny. Not too many people laughed.
do you
And I'm like,
realize
that's so funny. That's
the-
so genius.
The church complained about the music being too loud. Did you know that?
No.
Alex,
Oh, Alex came with speakers.
Josh,
Well, I
you were
remember
there
I
at
was
that
up there a
point?
couple
Yeah,
times.
you
I
were
was
there.
up there.
Hey, Doug Gerasi.
Yeah.
He brought speakers.
That was the funnest year in
I
Fishkill
brought
Little League.
My best.
The amp was there.
Yeah.
And then we just hooked up all the mic, cleaned them all up, and then I brought in what? I think I had a computer there, a printer to print out the sheets. I had an iPad with sounds. I had the lineups. You had to give me the song beforehand, and it would automatically load as the kids. I had it hooked.
Josh,
I
you
have
know-
pictures of it somewhere. It was.
so hammered.
Josh, remember when remember we came from the tournament and we stopped off at Fishkill Little League and that softball tournament was going on and we were just all walking around and me and Scott were walking around with just red Solo cups and Fred walked up to us and says, "Listen, guys," it's like
Yeah.
we realized like, wait a second, what the fuck are we doing right now?
The taller Fred.
yes.
Weren't there two Freds?
Yeah, Schmaltz, Fred Schmaltz.
Yeah, Schmaltz. And we were like taking it back, like,
What do you mean? It's like, wait a second, because we were just used to drinking
Yeah.
at these tournaments. Oh my god, that was so much fun though. Dude.
Matt's
best.
girlfriend said that in Ithaca you cannot have red Solo cups because now it's considered paraphernalia because it's alcohol.
Wow.
It's assumed.
It's assumed,
Yeah.
so they can't carry around red Solo cups.
Yeah.
Well, we've gone to Yetis in Fishkill.
That's the,
Yeah,
oh,
exactly.
I know. Yeah.
That's what I bring in my
But
golf
I-
cart every time.
Yeah. But you know what? Also, too.
stepped up.
Listen, we had a lot of fun doing it. I understand, but I think also that contributes to a lot of like these videos you see, like with the parents getting crazy and fighting in the stands, or beating up the coach or like crazy people like that. I think that's probably brought on by some some beverages, I guess, on the sideline.
I don't think it is. I think it's from those uptight parents who think their kid's the best.
True.
But
It has
with
nothing
arguing.
to do with the Solo Cup.
The
And
Solo
I'm
Cup
gonna
are the
agree with
ones
you.
Yeah, you think
that
so?
are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because there's people there's parents that need to be realists and just say, hey,
I agree.
I'm here to just watch my kid and enjoy my kid. And then there's the people that think that, oh my God, there's the next high school pitcher, and then there's the next college pitcher, and then he's going to go play for the Yankees. And guess what?
Nope.
Yeah.
What are the odds?
Yep.
Where are we now?
Right. And that's where it becomes like, we all had like realistic, for our kids. You know what I mean? It's like, listen, I knew Aiden wasn't going to be playing shortstop for the Mets. But you know what, though? That time that he played like Little League and All-Stars and travel, it's like he made friends and he was able to like, accept authority. Like, he was able to like direction. And so that whole time period for all of our kids is good because they got a chance to like see what it's like to be out there. Like our kids were out on the field all the time.
Yeah.
There were kids who pretty much just stayed in the house playing video games or whatever, but our kids were always at the field playing
Matty
baseball.
says his favorite time playing baseball was the Renegades, Rampage.
Yes.
We weren't the best, but it was more about the experience and going to Jersey, going to Connecticut, going to
It was the group you had too.
and
you guys
just
had a
hanging out. The
good
kids
group,
had
'cause
fun.
Yeah,
Sean
you
was
guys
like
did,
Sean
man.
was
You guys did.
one age too
yeah.
Yeah.
old for that, but you guys had a good group,
Yep.
No, they
good
did.
coaches, and you know what? That's even
That's
if you
what
get
it's
your
all
ass
about.
kicked. The kids want to win, yeah, but
course.
it's more about
Oh,
when
it's
you
about
have good
camaraderie.
parents,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not coaching. Nothing's better than coaching.
Oh, yeah.
So it's great.
Listen, and
Oh.
I'll tell you.
Yeah.
To be fair, I mean, none of you guys here. Maybe Joe a little bit, but none of you guys like played your own kid more than anyone else. Joe, but we were all fair.
Pick this kid, Joe. Pick this kid.
He grabs his balls a lot. Pick him.
Remember
Rocco?
I don't want to say nothing, but Rocco's playing shortstop.
That was so
and that's
funny.
the
I
end of
never.
it.
Rocco's
fucking said
awesome,
that.
dude.
I never said
That was great.
Hey yo,
I never said that.
Oh, Scott's not listening.
Rocco Uva.
Rocco Uva's right upstairs right now.
Yeah,
Rich,
no,
like,
he-
Rocco's
he-
killing us at short. But hey, Rocco ain't moving. Don't even fucking think.
The
of that.
funnest part about exactly.
Meanwhile, I'm the asshole coaching the All-Star for girls softball, and my daughter's crying because I don't play her on Sunday. I said, sorry, honey.
Rocco,
I love you, but
I just want to let you
you're
know,
not
if
one
you
of the
watch
better
this,
players.
Don't listen to Alex.
But then next year, she was when I played her.
Yeah.
Oh,
We've
my
always
God.
said we were harder on our own kids than
And
the
my
other
kids will tell you
players.
that.
Yeah.
And but I'd hate to say it, but also the parents are the reason why I quit coaching.
Oh,
Because they would stand right by the why is this? Because when you're playing like travel and that, if you have a pitcher that's going to pitch the next game, he can't play a certain position because you don't want
Yeah,
him
yeah,
throwing.
yeah.
Or if he just pitched, he's not playing third. Well,
But you're making the managerial decision.
no, but you had those parents.
they don't
Here's
get
the
it.
dugout, and you're standing here. They're right on the fence. Well, why is why isn't he playing third? Why do they have this guy at first? He doesn't play right field. What? And it's like finally I was like, you know what? If you can do a better job, come in here.
Yeah.
And they all were like, what? I'm like, if you think you can do a better job coaching, come in here because I can hear what you're saying. If not, shut the fuck up and let us coach. And then it was like, well, he shouldn't have said that. He was way out of line. It's like, no, I'm done. And then you know what I did? Quit coaching. Let him go on another team. I sat in right field with my Yeti cup with my wife. I didn't want to sit on the bleachers because it wasn't just that team. It's almost every team you have the parent. Well, the bitching. I don't want to hear complaining about the coach. Right field. And then all of a sudden they started to come out to right field. Shan and I went to center field. To left field.
Yeah.
Listen, you got to and you're absolutely right. I stopped the game at the Fishkill Rec once coaching basketball. Not the one I got thrown out. That's a different one.
Well, I coached basketball with you.
Yes, we did coach
right, you
Remember
guys
that game
did,
over
yeah.
in Unionville? The kid was swearing and punching
Yep.
the kids, and the ref did nothing.
Nothing the whole
Oh,
game.
I thought he was going to go to jail.
Oh, yeah.
But I called timeout in that one game because the parent from the top deck, there's a top deck there, is yelling down for what his kid to do, and it's opposite. So the kid's doing what his father's. So I called timeout, and I just put my hands up, and I yelled across the gym, "Do you want to coach?"
I do remember that. Yeah.
Come on down.
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, yeah.
And he didn't come down. And he shut up the rest of the game, and he came over to me with some fucking sob story.
Yeah.
I think he's dead now. I don't think the rest of that went well.
Alex had nothing to do with it. Just for the record.
Listen, he shut the fuck up that
Just
night.
for the
That's all I
record.
gave a shit
Right.
about.
Don't worry about cement loafers or anything like that. That comes from the
Josh just
Uva,
went limp.
You know,
No.
to the Sistine
We got the
Chapel.
erection man that'll help me. Can you help me with this?
I mean, your mic is.
Can you help him keep that mic erect, Joe?
We
keep
Slavs,
that over
we
there.
handle things differently.
That's correct. I mean, we started the Sistine
right.
Chapel.
Alex, you're right about that, dude.
Oh, Jesus Christ. We're going to hurry up, change the subject. He went back to the Sistine Chapel.
Yeah, but you know what it is? Alex makes a good point, because you know what? Because you never know like who you're kind of dealing with in a situation like that. Like you could be that guy that, you know, listen, you're not going to get crazy, you know, in front of the kids or anything, but you could be that guy that says, listen, we could go outside after the game and have a discussion, you know, by the car, you know, but there's a bunch of kids, you know, we could say it, you know, like that, and the guy would be like, whoa, well, you know, they're not expecting it. But guys like us, you know, if you kind of like cross us across our kids, you know, we're going to say it to you in a nice way, but when everybody's gone, everybody's off the court or off the baseball field, we're not going to have a nice conversation. So if you either have that or you don't have that, and most people choose not to have that conversation.
Yeah.
You know, when they realize that you're serious, you know?
I have a guy that we went at it.
Yeah.
And not like me and you, because that's joking. That's playful banter. I understand.
I'm with you.
We never really. But I did have a guy that, I'll say it, and he knows it. Guy Caffrey. We went at.
Yeah.
And to this
says
day,
Yeah.
guys,
know
Guy
Guy-
can listen.
yeah, they're friends.
I play golf with Guy
Yeah,
once a week.
They're friends.
I play golf with Guy once a week. And you know what we did? Because we're fucking grown men. After that game, we went together over the Seasons when it was open, sat at the bar, and had a fucking beer.
I got a quick fun. I got a
End of.
When you
Yeah.
brought up the first time you met Rich, I thought the first time I met Guy Caffrey. My oldest, Jack, was playing in the game, and their team didn't have enough players. So Guy had two of his players play the outfield. I was helping Maddie down on another field, and I come up, and Shannon's there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's the score? Shannon's like, I think it's like 19-0. I'm like, all right. Guy's coaching third, and I can see his two kids are in left and center. His player hits a ball out to left center, bases loaded. He's run. The kid gets a triple, 3 more runs, score. I'm like, now I'm leaning on the fence. I'm kind of like, really?
Yeah.
And Guy didn't see me. He kind of looks back. He goes, you talking to me? I'm like, yeah, really? I said, it's 20-0. You think you should have him taking a triple when it was hit to your kid? He goes, let me coach. I'm like, okay, but I'm just asking you a question. And we're going back and forth. But afterwards, not that same day, because I didn't even know who he was, we laughed about it.
Right.
But he was caught up in the moment. I just got up there, and I'm like, dude, it's 20-0.
Yeah.
But it's also Little League. It's like you're teaching the kids. It's just like, but that's funny because as soon as you said about that, the first time I met Guy was that situation.
I got-
me on the field being the smart ass. Really?
Yeah.
And you know, Guy, you talking to me? I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah.
The first time I guys, we all know Guy. Like, we're not talking out of pocket here. We all know Guy. Guy's a good dude, you know what I mean? But I remember there was a time I was watching a game on B Field, and it was Guy Caffrey and Jim Broughton coaching. Now I'm gonna say Jim Broughton's name. Jim Broughton is my coaching guru. That guy, literally, he's the man. But he used to yell a little bit like we all did, all right? So Guy Caffrey and Jim are coaching in the dugout, and I think the kids are probably 10, I guess, whatever. And Jim is screaming at Cole, yelling at Cole, flipping it. Exactly. But it gets to a point where Guy Caffrey turns to Jim and throws Jim out of the dugout. Now, Jim looks at Guy and says, are you serious? And I don't really know them that well at this point because they're young at this point. I think you might have been there, too. You might have been on the other team coaching with Mark. I think that might have. But anyway, that was besides the point. But he threw Jim out of the dugout. And Jim's like, are you serious? The guy's a little tough. Throws him out of the dugout, okay? So Jim storms up the hill. And I see him walking. So where the hell is he going? His steam coming off his head. So he goes up to the thing. He gets like a soda or something from the thing. He's screaming from the thing, still yelling at Cole from the thing. So, what are you doing out there? I can't believe it. He just went absolutely, and Guy's just standing there. He's like, oh my God, this guy's a complete lunatic. Jim was awesome that day because he literally continued to scream at Cole from the snack deck.
Well,
after
after that year, he didn't coach with Guy anymore.
No, he didn't. No,
he moved over, and
Yes.
it was me, you, Chris Rozicki, and you were working like afternoons, so you couldn't be there all the time. It was me, you, Chris Rozicki, and Jim. We coached the Royals. Maddie was the
Oh,
leadoff.
that's right.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
Wait, was that the year that the Giants won the
I knew that's where
championship?
you were going to go. Yeah.
Was
we
that
were
was
up
that
one
was,
game to nothing?
was
and
that the
we
year
lost
that the
2-0.
Giants won the championship? Wait a second. Didn't they win it the year before too?
Listen, none of your fucking listeners care about your 12-year-old
right, on my
Little League
Little League
champion.
coaching resume?
Where's the trophy?
Oh,
Yeah.
I bet I could get Scott Ferris to produce a picture of us holding our 4 trophies.
I can get a picture of Scott Ferris holding something else.
Oh my God!
All
You know,
right.
you know what's funny? He still has that picture, and
So
he
do
still
I.
shows it to us.
I am intrigued.
I'll show it to you.
We'll show that picture later.
So the irony is like we keep circling back like to the one thing, right?
Yeah.
It was baseball.
And what's funny is
It was baseball.
Like-
the love of that game is,
Yeah.
is
you all
phenomenal.
have your own friends you grew up with.
Yep.
But if you think about the majority of your friends now are your kids' parents. Your kids' friends' parents.
Correct.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong about this. I tell people this when they first have kids. Now, when your kids are really young, like when we moved up here, we're new up here. I guess I call it the interview. I guess you would say, because like kid wants a play date. All right, kid has a play date. I hate that word, but that's what they use. So you go over it now. You as a dad, first instinct is,
Why does it have
where's
to
the
be
phone?
called that?
Huh?
Why can't you just go over to somebody's
All right, so let's call it a
They don't
hangout.
just
No,
drop
I
off
know.
anymore.
I know you're right, Alex. I hate
Yeah,
that
you're
word.
right.
They
We
don't
used to
drop
walk
off.
out and just go to.
Yeah,
I
you
hate
just
that
drop
word.
off
You're
and
right.
leave.
Now it's the
You got to
Right.
entertain the parent. I mean,
But-
listen. Is anybody still doing that in this group?
No.
No.
But the point
But
that
we
my kids,
did.
my kids
My
are
wife
home.
had to text in and say,
college.
to correct all of us, the wives became best friends too. So just don't think.
Yeah.
It-
No, what I'm saying is that the
Thanks,
point.
Kara.
I was
Thank
gonna.
you.
I was honestly
Peanut
gonna.
gallery.
I was
Stand down.
honestly gonna.
His
gonna
eye
come
just
to that
blew
point.
up.
You got to go down the mountain.
Meatloaf.
Carry, you're too high.
Oh, speaking of play dates, I got yelled at by my wife when my youngest was in preschool. We went to a birthday party for a girl,
Yeah.
and we went shopping, and he picked out a cheerleader costume.
That's nice.
So I'm like, all right, and I gave it to her. And the dad I was friends with, he pulled me aside. He goes, really? Your son gave my daughter a cheerleading outfit for her birthday? I was like, and my wife was like, you don't do that. You get her a doll or something. You don't get her a cheerleading
That's funny.
outfit.
I
That's
gave
tough.
Kara one this morning.
You were just trying to get her out of the room.
Just give my wife one too. but you know, go ahead, Joe. Go ahead, Joe.
Well, I mean, like, what seems to be having, like, he must have read something. Like, full disclosure stories,
You
right?
fucking idiot.
Like, full disclosure stories, right? So Alex, you were with me, right? So our team the next day was our last game, and it was, we had nothing to give the kids, remember? And we were out drinking at handshakes, and we were hammered.
No,
Listen
I
to
don't
me.
recall it that way.
Listen.
But go ahead.
And then Alex is like, let's go get a case of baseballs, and Kara will write the kids' names on every single baseball, and we'll give them out. It's like 3 in the morning.
You went to Walmart.
No, we were in Fishkill in the fucking
White House.
No, well, that's where we were drinking, but we were in the equipment room.
Right.
Alex is like, "Do you see any cops coming?" And I'm like, "I'm with a cop."
And then I
I'm
opened
like,
that.
Am I all right? I'm
like-
with the cop.
I'm like-
Alex is like with the key.
I'm like, don't tell
He's
Jim
trying.
Broughton, he's the quartermaster. And then I open the
goes
fucking
in there.
back room door, and Fred's in there with the lights off.
He goes-
No, I'm just
No. He goes in there to get a case of baseballs. So Kara would write down the kids' names, and we were going to hand them out to the kids.
As a matter of fact, Jack has one upstairs. He still has
He
that ball.
probably does.
He still has that
Fred's
ball.
listening. He left money for the baseballs on top of the thing.
100%.
Oh yes, he did.
I did.
No, 100%.
Yeah, actually, you know how much fucking money, like, probably all of us pulled out
That
of
was
our
so
own
great.
pocket.
Oh, ridiculous.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Like, when I wired
100%.
that upstairs, like, nobody paid for that.
100%, Alex. Yep, I agree. You know, and then but
And we
that goes to the
donated
point
things.
where because you know we really cared. Like we had fun, we were friends, but we watched our kids grow on those fields. We watched our kids have fun, so we had no problems pulling out our own money and calling our own
But
practices.
not only that,
and-
but we wanted to. But that's the other thing that you see. There's a select few that will do that. And then there's those parents that just drop Johnny off. And
Right.
be like, all right, here you go for 2 hours. And then
Right.
go, well, why isn't Johnny playing?
Or is there?
and
is there?
Alex would go because Rocco's playing short.
Yeah, right. Or is there? Poor Rocco.
So Rocco, I'm just joking.
Yeah.
Rocco, you deserve to be there.
Or is that there's that group of parents, or they go into the equipment room at 3 a.m. drunk,
Yeah.
and Alex has got the key.
Yeah.
Are there cops coming?
Those are
I'm like, I'm with the cops.
So like I said, those are so much fun. And to our points right now is Maddie goes to Cortland. Aiden's gonna probably go to Cortland next year. They're gonna rekindle a friendship, because they whenever they see each other, they have good conversations. But also in the other room right now is Alex's son Sean and Rocco, and they're hanging out with my boys. They're like, and this is how many years later, guys, and all our boys. Still, like, Aiden went up to Cortland. He's like, I saw Maddie. I was talking to Maddie for a little while. It's like, all our boys they still know each other. It's like, and those friendships are going to be, it's like maybe like they go their different ways, at some point when they're littler. But now that they're getting older, they realize, like Sean, like my boys, I have been hanging out with Sean every single night. It's like now that, Sean had his girlfriend or whatever, now he's, more available. It's like the three of them are, they're inseparable, Alex. And I love it. Like Sean's here a lot. I love watching that kid come in the door. And the three of them are inseparable. They're building a room in there so they could just hang out. And it's like that all grows from us meeting.
Camera went.
Oh, fantastic. That all goes from us meeting at from baseball. And our kids are still friends.
We need a Baba Booey to do this
A
shit.
flop-off Louie. A flop-off Louie.
Yeah,
Like when the camera falls.
I'm doing
Come on, Gary. What are you doing? Like we can yell at him the whole time.
I'm doing the engineering on the fly here.
But again, Rich, it was like the one thing that brought us all together was the one thing that separated us. But now we're here.
Yeah.
It's like our kids could be sitting in this room doing this podcast later on in life, and we would probably be loving it every minute of it.
Yeah. You know what it is? It's
It has to
because
do
we're
with
all
our
rational people.
relationships.
We're all rational people. We all wanted what was best for all the kids and our kids. We just went about it different ways because we all have different demeanors and personalities.
Yes.
And listen, like the time they wanted to move the meeting from the bowling alley because there was alcohol. Listen, I was going to yell like an asshole if there was alcohol or no alcohol. I went into that meeting with every intention of being an asshole.
Josh, you weren't a part of that whole thing with the Fishkill Little League when it started turning over and Alex tried to overthrow everybody in Fishkill Little League?
That's right before I left.
Oh, my God. That was crazy,
Because there's
dude.
an exit I pass all the time. I think of Alex all the time.
Yeah, that was nuts, dude. Trying to overthrow
I'll
Fishkill.
just tell you.
It's actually not my exit, it's his exit.
Oh, that was amazing.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were we going to say, Joe?
I'm just going to tell you again. If
He's the
it's
source.
written in black and white.
Because you called me.
Oh, you guys.
He's the
suck.
originating
No,
source.
no, but I'm saying no. You called me to be like,
Yes.
yeah.
Remember, we're live.
But
here,
yeah,
guys.
yeah. No,
All right, so
we're not
listen,
going into any
no,
detail.
So listen, all I'm gonna say is, if it's written in black and white,
Yeah.
don't put it in his hands, because he's gonna go by it. So
But again, that goes to
yeah.
what you guys were just saying.
Speaking of the equipment room, what was the thing? Because I remember we would get bitched at for either leaving the light on or turning the light off.
Turning it off.
Turning it
Because
off.
they want that light on.
Oh,
It's still to this day is on.
the outside light
Yeah, the outside.
stays on. The
Yeah.
inside light had to be off.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
to this day, that light is still on.
Nobody knew where the cable TV bill was getting charged to.
There was a modem
Correct.
in there. There was a modem in there.
I don't remember.
Dude, that was a crazy time, man.
And we
my
got a
God.
cable TV.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't fucking know.
I'd be getting phone calls from like people or whatever. It's like, guys, I don't care what you guys say. Listen, Alex is my friend, so don't involve me in this. Like I said, because Alex is my friend, and I am never gonna say anything bad about him. And to be honest with you, no matter what he says, I'm gonna back him up anyway. No matter what he says, I'm gonna back him up anyway.
Eddie, in hindsight, what the fuck?
No,
But it's like
but
you drew
dude,
that
it
line.
wasn't.
You drew that line. You're like, all right, nope.
It
Because
wasn't
you were
petty at
right.
the time.
You were Alex. You were right,
You
and
were
that
right.
and that's what it
And
boiled
that's
down
what I
to,
lived
dude.
and died by. The man was right.
That's what it boils down to. You were right.
Listen, I wanted to grow the program. I wanted to.
Swartoutville. We needed Swartoutville.
Yeah.
Sometimes
We got to steal the kids from Fishkill and East Fishkill and Hopewell to Swartoutville.
I think anything in life that stops growing, whether it's physically growing or learning, it starts to die. So we had to grow, and that was my point.
I got it, and especially when you wanted to expand into Swartoutville.
Yeah.
And Amory. Amory.
I got the perfect spot, Amory,
Anvil,
Swartoutville.
He gave him the okay. I was like,
Did you have to give
Where
him a
are we
map
going?
to show the houses and everything?
No, I didn't really do this.
for the All-Stars to make sure that they were in the right area.
Yeah, the All-Star map.
Here are the 5 houses in Swartoutville.
Yeah.
They're eligible for fish kill.
I gotta go to the bathroom. Real
Jimmy
quick.
Jones over here, he's
Don't
eligible for Wappingers.
We're like,
Oh, we got no moderator. It's going off.
oh,
the
we're
rails.
going off the track right now. He started to ask us about music.
I know. This
Oh
stem.
yeah, and that just you and your chisel with the Metallica just thwarted
it
that. No, actually, he went into Wu-Tang, and then that was.
The Wu-Tang threw it off
That's where we stopped.
at the
Yeah.
Wu-Tang.
Yeah.
We brought it back to reality.
So, you're watching Yellowstone. Is that what I heard?
I'm rewatching it. Yeah, I've watched it
How
since.
pissed are you that they're not doing another season?
So now the thing came out today. It says November 2024 possible release
I heard
because they got to
No,
finish
I heard
season
that-
5.
I heard that Kevin Costner said he doesn't want to do it anymore.
I did hear that, but I read something today that they pushed it back to 2024. Like, come on, let's get the rest of
You
the
have
season
to,
out.
Just give us the end. Let it go from there.
Or you know what you're gonna do? You're gonna turn people off from 1883, which I thought was good, but not could have been better. It was a little slow. I liked 1920.
See, I only saw up to the point where the Native American girl got put in that little shack.
Yeah.
Oh my God! At least for 5 minutes, you talk about Yellowstone. I must not have a penis because I hate that show.
I don't even fucking watch it.
Go ahead. Sorry,
I
guys.
haven't watched it.
Talk so much yourselves. Go ahead.
It's the first time on the show anybody's given a shit that's listening. Go back to the bathroom.
The people
The
of
listeners,
Right, guys.
the listeners just went Yellowstone.
Time out. The people
Trending.
of Swartoutville.
We're trending. I'm like, people listen to this. What's the fucking bunch of guys in a fucking basement in their 40s and 50s? Who the fuck? What am I listening to?
Believe it or not, some people are listening, Alex.
Hi, Rich's mom.
But you know what, though? But exactly. But you know what, though?
Hi, Mrs. Risenberg.
Exactly. But you know what, though? And I gotta be honest with you, like I said, just get to get a little like serious for a second. Josh went limp again, but me and Josh were talking about this, dude. It's like I think it's like, listen, therapeutic, man. Like you just sit there and you talk, and like you talk in a microphone, you put it on, on video, or you put it on a podcast, and like if people listen to it, it's funny. I don't think thousands of people are listening to this, but you know what? I find it therapeutic. Like I just, me, guys, I could talk to a fucking brick wall.
What I
if
like
had
is
to.
when was the last time you and I were together talking?
Right.
Probably the
You
last
and I?
time I saw you was on the field.
At softball field.
Correct.
And see
Yeah.
that.
You were playing shortstop, and then all of a sudden you disappeared.
To Josh's credit, like me and Josh,
That's right.
every
All
like
4 of
year
us were
or
on that
so,
softball
That's
team.
correct.
we'll text
You
like,
were gone.
once a year.
Yeah.
We've if
I
I
only
needed something,
remember-
I know I can call him.
That's the thing, and you see, and that's because we're friends. It doesn't, because we're friends. Because we met each other a long time ago, and we may not talk for months on end or a week or whatever, but we could probably call each other, and you guys would do anything for me.
Yeah.
I know that.
No question asked.
Yeah, I know that. Because talking, me and Josh were doing the Shootin the Breeze thing over the summer. It's like that was very therapeutic for me, and very therapeutic for you
Yeah.
too. And it's like just to being able to talk out loud and think that somebody might be listening. Maybe like I said, maybe my mom and dad are
I
listening.
didn't care if anyone
But
was listening. Dude, I
I
was
don't
stuck
care. I'm
home for
enjoying it.
3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen.
Stuck home for 3 years, couldn't leave Monday through Friday. I had the 2 dogs.
Yeah.
yeah,
Going insane.
yeah.
Look, these are great stories, and not everybody could relate, but I'm sure they're enjoying us laughing.
Of course.
So,
But like you said, and when you guys just said it, like when was the last time you guys got together? When was the last time you guys seen? I've seen you guys,
But what's funny is
individually.
the last time the 4 of us were together, we're over in East Fishkill softball field.
playing on the field.
Yeah, yeah.
Alex was the coach.
And I only
you
remember
were third
this.
base, I was
Oh,
shortstop.
that was a long time ago.
And I only remember Josh because Josh would say every time the text went out to the whole group, the response was, "I can't talk right now because I'm driving." And I was like,
Oh.
"Who is this?"
Oh,
And it was Josh was like, "Oh, that's my automatic response." And I was like,
You know how many people
"I don't
get
fucking
pissed?
know that."
No one
And, I was like, and that's how I knew it was Josh.
But it didn't show
Hey,
up on
Alice,
my phone.
we got a game
No, it
tonight at
doesn't.
8:15. Who's going to show up? Sorry, I can't talk right now. I'm driving.
And what's funny is it never shows. It
Stop
it
driving.
didn't show up on my phone. People
I was
be
like,
like,
what the
"Why do you
fuck?"
send? If you can't talk, why do you send that?" I'm like, "Send what?"
Alice,
Yeah.
Alice, I'm like,
You
Alice,
just click
who
the
the fuck
setting.
is that?
Yeah.
He's like, I think that's Josh.
Auto
I was
reply
like,
while driving.
all right, Josh, don't fucking drive. Pull over and respond.
Well, the feature that was once that's set, he doesn't receive the messages till he stops driving. That's the
I
purpose.
But I had to ask him, and I was like, what is that? He was like, it happens, man. I was like, whoa, it just happens, man.
How
I was
does it
like, this is
happen?
great.
I don't want to say how many years ago this was because I know my wife is listening. But I think the last time we were all like partying and sitting together was her 40th out back at my house.
So 2 years
we were
ago.
listening to
Oh, yeah,
year and a half.
We were going.
We were listening to freestyle music and we were playing Can Jam.
Can Jam down, yeah.
Hold on. Can I ask the question? Was that the night that you wanted to shoot the black snake?
I don't think.
And I grabbed, and Kara laughs at me to this day still because I grabbed my kids and I said, "Get in the fucking house right now." And there's
No,
Alex.
you went into a fucking panic.
He went out there with his gun. I'll get that fucking black
That,
snake.
that thing is huge.
Easy, dude.
That's you. You're lucky I didn't have a
Kara will
shotgun with
text
double
us.
a buck in
She's
the house.
going to
I would have
text
blew
us.
that snake
Josh, were
away.
you there that day, dude?
I think I was just leaving when that
She's
happened.
going to text us. I know it's coming, but
Oh my god.
No, because that was Kara's birthday, yes.
I remember that. And when he pulled out the gun,
Yeah.
I said, "Rocco Dillon, get in the fucking house right now."
Now it's just like, what? What's going on?
What do you mean? It's only a 28.
Listen, that snake is still crawling around in that backyard,
And
Alex.
I was like, Alex,
He
it's
comes
not.
out
Yeah.
every fucking other year, but I know he's there because he leaves his snake skin. And the thing is like 8 feet long. I tried to cut his head off this year with this snow shovel, but I'm so scared of snakes that I'm like tiptoeing up.
Petrified.
Yeah.
I can't stand it. Like,
Yeah.
I get out of my car,
Yeah.
and I'm like, where's
Yeah.
the snake? And then I go in. I spend more money. I know this shit doesn't work. It just makes me feel better. On Amazon, on snake repellent that I throw around my whole fucking yard, and then I smell like mothballs for 2 days. I smell like I came out of my grandmother's fucking basement.
But no snake
in
is going to come
Brooklyn.
after you.
No snake is gonna get me. That's why old people don't get by snakes.
I thought
they
snakes,
smell like mothballs.
I thought mothballs were for mice.
So
They
It-
are.
I think
but
they-
don't tell fucking Alex.
Oh, sorry,
that.
they're for snakes too.
Just
I
don't
listen,
forget,
it
don't
comes in a
forget.
bag that says snake repellent, and it's fucking smells like
Again,
mothball.
it's in black and white, and it says snake repellent. So there you
Can I
go.
just bring
It
up-
makes me feel
I just
better.
have to say, the reason why that snake's still there is him. He didn't let you shoot the snake.
I
So
know.
can I make a point?
Sure.
Can I make a point?
Of course you can.
Alex stressed the point about how people go through their whole police career and not pull out their guns. But Alex
On duty.
will pull out his gun on duty
Jojo.
when he's not on
Talking about two
to
different
kill
things.
fucking snakes.
First of all, that was an off-duty weapon.
It was a snake gun.
It was on my private
So,
property.
I mean, Rich, what are we saying? When do you pull it out?
Off duty, I guess.
Hey,
Off
you're
duty.
stealing that car. Don't worry about it.
Is that a snake
Wait a
under
minute,
the
is
car?
that a snake? I'm gonna fucking kill it. Are there kids around? I'm gonna shoot it. Hey, wait a minute. Are we 1,000 feet above sea level? I think I can see it.
It's long before that happened.
You know what? And it's funny, like you know what,
I
Alex
love
is sitting. I got another a good Alex story. Alex, this is another good story about you, and this is another to your point about always being like having that fun party atmosphere, and then all of a sudden just going into cop mode. I remember it's going to get serious for a second, but we were having a party. We were partying here all day. We were swimming in the pool. We were drinking. We were having a great time. And my father-in-law was alive at the time, and he was sitting in the family room, and Alex and Carol were fighting, and it was crazy. We
4th of July,
drunk.
we were at the
Yeah.
fireworks.
It was Shannon's birthday. We got nuts at the house. So whatever, it was one of those parties. But Alex and Carol got into a little tiff, and Carol went one way, and Alex went
Get
another
outta
way.
here.
And this is like Alex hammered at this point, just going nuts. And all of a sudden, my father-in-law, I wasn't there. My father-in-law starts choking. He starts choking, and my sister-in-law Joey is in the room with them, and she's bugging out. Like, I wasn't there. Joey had told me this story. But all of a sudden, this guy went from Alex being hammered, arguing with his wife, and just going to straight boom, runs into the room, looks at my father-in-law, says, looks at him, says something, hits him in the chest. He coughs something up, and, like, he's fine. Alex just kind of, like, stands up, and
he
all of a
was
sudden he
out.
went back. I was like, you were like a goddamn superhero, dude. Because he literally came in, straightened up completely, brought my father-in-law back to life and said, all right, can I go back to being drunk now? It's like, no, then he went outside. But the point I'm making is that switch went on.
I
in you.
stayed with him in the room till Joey came in.
But the point I'm making, though, is that switch went on for you because it had to go on. And Chris Gallagher's another guy that switch went on. Remember that at the field today, and Hunter Ferris almost cut his leg off with that
I
thing?
wasn't there, but I
Chris-
saw
Over at the
actually,
thing?
I was at the other field because
Yeah.
that was at Doug Phillips at the
Yes.
pipe.
We were bugging out, and Chris Gallagher was cool as a cucumber. Josh, were you there?
No.
I remember just Chris going, everybody calm down, just walking over.
I saw you standing at the end of the road waiting for the ambulance, and I didn't know what the fuck was going on because I was going to Shepherd.
I'm going. I didn't know what to do, and I'm like, Chris, what are you gonna do? He goes, Rich, just get the fuck out of here and go wait for the ambulance. So calmly, I'm like, and he was bleeding a lot.
He's Chris was ESU guy though.
Man.
See a lot of shit.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Like you were saying before about training and what we see as police, we see like the worst of humankind most of the time.
Yeah.
With death and just bad people and doing CPR and that. That when it happens, you have to stay calm.
Right.
Like that video I sent you today of the ex-military
my
guy,
God, that's a great
Uber
video.
driver, and there's a guy in the back, and the kid opens the door. He goes, "Can I help you?" And the kid gets in. "Give me your money." And the guy's like, "I don't have any money." He goes, "Well, give me your wallet." The guy's like, "No." He's like, and you hear, he goes, "Oh, you're gonna shoot me now?" And the kid goes, "Give me your wallet." He goes, I don't know. I don't have it." And he's calm and collecting. I think he had a gun.
Yeah.
Because he lifted his shirt up. And he goes, "Do you want to get shot now?" The kid's like, "Give me your money." The guy's like, "You don't want to do this. Get out of the car." But never raised his voice and just kept going. And the guy in the back was like, "Wow, did that just?" But it's just like it's the training. You don't panic. You don't start going. It's all right. Here you go.
That last line in that video was great. He's like, ex-military, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
That was amazing. That's always was like, ex-military, get the fuck out of here. That's an awesome line. You know what I mean? So, and you're right. Just train to be cool under pressure.
But the other thing is you get
You learn that
awareness also. Of
when we
what's going on.
first came out, like when you asked about the police academy, they give you the knowledge to do things. Yeah, there's practicals and but until you get out there and you start working, once you see things over and over, and I'm sure Josh will tell you, there's still things that we see that are fucking with our heads.
Right.
But a lot of things like blood, I still don't like throw up, but it's like that's one of the things that always has bothered me.
Right.
But blood, the smell of death, you know what it is, and it's something you'll never get out of your brain, and you know instantly. Yeah. But it's those things it's why we stay calm. It would be like if you all day long, if there was a piece of steel hanging, and people were in a panic, and you're like, it's supported by this, and this, and I'm gonna fix this. I got this.
Yeah. Alex, I don't know how many times, to my profession for a second, like how many times, like, something will be looked at. Like, I'm a skinny, wiry guy, and they're kind of like looking at something, but just you don't think about it. You just boom, 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 boom. You throw your harness on. You just up.
You throw us up on that building.
Yeah.
We're not going to be as calm as we are.
Yeah, right.
Right.
I'll be terrified.
But the thing is, like what you just said. You just said 20 years of being a police officer. You just cool and calm under pressure. Like me, 20 years being an iron worker. Like, and if I'm sitting with people that are trying to figure something, I'm not scared. Like, I'm not like, if it's my job, I'll throw my harness on. I'm not gonna. You know what? I'm not gonna fall because it's my job, and I do it on a daily basis. Like I do put myself in danger. But. Not really in danger because I'm hooked off. But the thing is, like, you have to get the job done, and you can't be scared in certain situations. Like with you can't be scared to be a cop. You can't be scared of heights in my position. You can't be scared to do something that's like, out of pocket for you. You know what I mean? It's like you gotta like.
I don't know if it's that you can't be scared of it. You have to respect it.
Yes.
Some fear is good because it's what keeps you alive.
Respect what you're doing. And you have to know that just because you put the harness on, it doesn't mean it's always going to work.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you get into that conscience and competence, and you say to yourself, it's routine. I do it every single day.
Right.
But when you respect what you do,
right, I wouldn't call
take that one step, and you say,
like I wouldn't like I just from my perspective, I wouldn't call it fear. Like I think that fear of doing something like on a high building like that. I personally think fear is bad because I think respect is a better word. I think respect the heights, respect this, but you have to think that harness is going to hold me up, and you can't be scared. I literally think you can't be scared because fear is, I guess, good. I guess
fear
in certain
is something
situations,
in your body. It's a feeling in your body that keeps you alive and keeps you safe.
Yeah.
Not to say you're not going to move forward and go, but it makes you move forward
differently
in a way that
we
is
spoke
safe
about
for
this
you.
earlier upstairs.
Right.
Fear is what keeps humankind around. Because back when you're a caveman, if they weren't afraid of what that noise in the bush was, they'd be dead.
Well, because they weren't afraid to check it out, though.
No, they were. That's why they're still alive.
Well, that's what I mean, though. But through the years, like we've progressed. Like
Then they got weapons.
maybe I'm just having a hard time with the word fear because fear.
I think substituted with the word respect.
Right, and I agree,
it
Joe.
becomes a different
Right.
perspective of what, because you just can't assume every single day that you're going to go to work and you're going to be okay.
No.
Because that's what we say, right? Because you're saying that you're going to put that harness on, and I'm going to go up 120 feet. I'm going to be all right. I'm going to come home and I'm going to see the kids.
Yeah.
But when you stop and you respect it and you say, hold on a second, let me just take 2 seconds more.
Right.
I just regroup
Think
my
about it.
brain and say, what am I doing?
Right. But again, I just maybe, like I said, maybe I just have the guy. Maybe I just don't
Because
call it
you
fear.
come-
Respect is a great word.
I think it is respect.
Yeah,
It's
respect is a great word.
for the policemen, and it's respect for what we do. But you're getting that lift every single day. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. You think about it. 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
7 o'clock. Still
Yeah.
dark out.
Yeah. You know what? I have to. It's
I
not
don't
like
even
you
know
know, and you
what
and
went
I
through the night before.
and I'll tell you right now,
You
the
know?
thing like when I'm asked that question or whatever is like the thing that keeps me going every day is because if you're on a job with like 30 guys, no matter what kind of worker they are, it doesn't really matter. If you're there at 7 a.m. doing the same thing I am, you already won the battle. You got to work. I mean, there's 30 other guys doing the same thing I'm doing, getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning, coming into the city, getting up on those lifts. I mean, some of them are doing different jobs, but that keeps me going, knowing that somebody else is doing the same thing I'm doing. They're trying to support their children. They're trying to do this, and they're putting their lives in danger, I guess. But
So to the same point that you and I were talking about earlier, all four of us was like these guys, do they have the retraining? And I know if you're doing what I do, we're trying to retrain every 6
Yeah.
months and every year, refreshers. You're constantly doing this shit for that one time.
yeah, but I also think Joe, because we come from a different perspective, I think, from when it comes to the safety. You know, because Skanska, the company you work for, is super duper safety.
Correct.
Now,
That
everything
doesn't mean everyone's
right,
following
right.
it. The
I-
policies and the protocols are set.
I just feel the whole retraining thing after a couple of years is like the same thing to your guys' point. It's like when you come out of the academy, when you come out of the apprenticeship program. It's like you could learn so much and get all these licenses in the apprenticeship program, but we have
You're gonna trust a kid that comes out
No.
of the apprenticeship, and you're gonna put him 120
No.
feet in the air, and he's your partner.
Nope.
Would you trust him?
Nope.
No, you wouldn't. Would you?
Because
No,
he
you
doesn't have-
wouldn't.
'cause he
You're
does-
gonna say, "Hey, man, I came from the street, and this is what I
By
did
the way, but-
5 years or 10 years before
Well, we
you
have
got
to
here."
we have to do that though as FTOs. We have to put that new person in and ride with them.
Agreed.
And help them.
Agreed. I'm not saying that. I mean, again, respect. Right. We teach our kids the same thing. Respect what you do.
Yeah.
You know, it's all
Because, you know, to your point, like you have a 4-year apprenticeship program where you have an academy, like where you learn everything by the book. By the book, by the book. You guys know as well as I do in your profession, in our profession, when do you use the book? In a situation that you have to get something done, like the book goes out the window when you have to get something done. Like if the book says that you have to speak to somebody a certain way and you don't, it has nothing to do with the book told me this way, but this is me talking. Not that it's got to be any different, like you're angrier, but the way you're putting your opinion across or being, is different. But the book says I should do it this way. But you have life experience on a job where this has worked for me in the past. So the book kind of goes out the window sometimes.
The book is there to say when you did wrong, right? And you still have to be the one who's gonna do right.
Great point, Joe.
You know, so when they say, "Hey, Josh, did you yell at him?" Yeah, I did. But paragraph 1.2 says you're not supposed to yell.
Yeah.
I mean, the book is there to guide you.
I was going to say
To
it's
hold
more
people
of a guide.
accountable.
Correct. And
It's
then
also a basis
it's-
of how to do your job and how to.
But that's everything in life, man.
Yeah.
I mean, we're raising kids.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're raising kids with the
And that's
stuff.
one of the biggest things that there's no book for, and anyone can
Nope.
do it.
No.
Nope.
I try to teach my kid, number one, respect and
Yep.
communication.
Yep.
And we go back to what we talked about 2 hours ago.
Right. Now, my kids know your consequences. Like look, my kids are not going to be, they're going to make mistakes in life. I can't think that they're going to do the right thing all the time, but know your consequences. And I think if you know your consequences, that kind of makes you reluctant to do something wrong.
Yep.
Or if you just don't give a fuck, then you just go ahead and do it. But if you know your consequences are going to be bad, most people will stop and think like, maybe I don't want to go through with this.
Well, nowadays it's more. There are no consequences. It's you get the person doing it wrong has more benefits, and they look more at the other person. Just like I always say, the comic 1970s parent-teacher conference. Little Johnny's failing, and the parents are looking at little Johnny. Why are you failing? Nowadays, It's little Johnny's failing. The parents are looking at the teacher. Why is little Johnny failing?
Right.
They're not holding accountable the kids anymore.
Did you see in Oregon? I read something on Twitter or something that they're getting rid of reading, writing, and they're getting rid of. The state of Oregon is making reading, writing, and math not as important as other stuff to get out of school. In other words, getting rid of the SAT and get rid of like stuff that that is.
We're already doing that in New York State.
I understand that, but but that's it.
Coming from outside New York State, what is this Regents shit?
Right.
What, I have a Regents degree. I have this. It means
data.
nothing outside.
Alex said it before. It's all data.
Yeah,
Collecting
but you know what though,
data.
and what sucks about that is these
And it's
tests.
all money because it's all depends on how much more money the state needs for the education.
Right.
And colleges,
Yeah.
remember, colleges are federally across the country, so they don't give a shit about if it's regions or.
You leave New York and you go to a different state.
They don't know what regions
No.
is.
You say, I got a Regents degree. Okay.
So.
That's why I always took trial regions. That was after I failed the first
Whatever
3
you
times.
fucking did, whatever you did, it worked. I mean, 28 years later, you.
I
got
just
out.
listen. I just didn't go, man. I'm talking to Rich's thing. I remember I got Wu-Tang. Enter the 36 chambers. I had a Discman. I'd go to Dutch's and just sit in the
Discman.
cafeteria and smoke cigarettes and drink coffee and listen to Wu-Tang.
Yeah.
And then go home
about
after
that.
I knew my mom went to work.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. A Discman. How many of us owned one?
Of course we have.
I did.
Absolutely.
I had a mount,
Pirated.
a shelf on my car, and every time I hit a fucking bump, the thing would go to the next fucking song.
Do you remember you would also go, you had the 10 changer in the back of the car.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I was
That's
really
it.
fancy.
And that big book that had 4
Oh,
discs
my
on.
yes.
But-
You're like, whoa.
Yeah.
How'd you change them Iron
How about we
Maiden to
just got-
Metallica?
We just got a new Subaru.
I didn't have to.
and
Push
it
the
has
button.
a CD player in it.
I just
Does it
pushed the
really?
button, guys.
Yeah.
That's it.
We just got a new Subaru.
Shuffle.
Has a CD player in it.
Get out of here, really?
Yeah. Shannon's like, she got
Wait,
a car-
what?
A new Subaru
With a CD
with a CD player. Shannon gets in the car. We drove it and we didn't realize it. We're taking it home. She's like, "Is that a CD player?" I'm like, "Son of a
Wow.
bitch, it is." I don't have any CDs.
Well, I got some CDs.
I still got
a
them.
bunch of CDs. I really
These
do.
nuts.
That's these nuts. Oh my God! Wow.
Too funny, man.
Yeah, man. All right. So listen,
Yeah.
we've been talking for an hour and 54 minutes. So
Let's just say
Everybody hung up
we're
a long
talking
time
about
ago.
school.
Nah,
One
people
thing they
listen to
need
this,
to
people
start
listen.
doing in school is teaching more of shit that you need to know in
Yeah.
life.
yes.
Like, I know going in school, if you were in tech or doing anything like wood or automotive, you weren't smart kids.
Yeah.
I would rather have known that shit now that I'm an adult.
Well,
I about sliced my finger open plumbing yesterday.
Yeah. My son Jack's going to BOCES right now. He's going to BOCES for culinary. He's a junior and he's learning how to be a chef right now. You know what I mean? And he tells me too. He's like, they learn math, and stuff like that, but they don't learn like algebra. They learn math that pertains to being a chef. You know what I mean? Like,
so they focus on what's important to the trade
Yeah.
that they're trying to teach.
Yep.
Do you need to teach geometry to somebody who's going to be an electrician?
No.
No,
No.
you don't. Do you need to teach them ohms and amperage? Yeah, you do.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
when was the last time any one of us used geometry?
I use it sometimes.
I do.
Do you today?
I do, Joe, to be honest
For
with you.
what?
When I'm working construction with the
Well,
angles.
you're doing angles, so you're doing angles.
I do layout, Joe.
But it's minimal.
Yeah.
But it's minimal.
It's minimal. Yeah, it's minimal.
It's
but
minimal.
but if you get, sometimes it gets a little
Right.
complex though.
Yeah.
I just
But like when you're starting to lay, like, Joe, like you see some of these buildings now and you're laying out some of these curves and these radiuses and stuff. That's all geometry.
It's all. It is. But it's so much easier. 'cause
Correct.
It's already,
You're not doing like the
it's
Pythagorean theorem
already
and you're
on
not doing
there.
like,
You're not using
for you.
sine and
line,
cosine
sine. I was
and
gonna say
that.
that's
You're not-
tangent.
Yeah, you're not.
A tangerine, whatever the hell it
The
is.
point. I think the point to Josh.
Fucking orange.
I think the point to Josh's finger was it's okay to learn a trade today
Absolutely.
because
And
it's
they should
not
be
enough.
teaching. How many kids don't come out of high school not knowing
There's
how to change
not
a tire?
enough.
So important, dude.
I
Not
think
how to
that's the
change a
point.
Sean is
tire.
20 years old. He could.
Check their
Sean,
oil.
if you're listening, I'm sorry.
And I mean
He
in
couldn't
their
change a
car.
tire. He can't change a tire. I've shown him.
Yeah.
He can't change a tire.
Oh yeah, no. I've shown the boys,
Yeah.
but to operate the jack, Dad, where's the jack? Jesus Christ, it's
But when you were 18, did you know how to change the tire?
yes.
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 And our parents were okay with
Yes,
it.
I did.
And you know what? If Sean told me right now I'm broken down on the side of the road, I'm changing a tire, I'd probably shit my pants.
Oh, absolutely. I'd be flying out
That's
of
a
here. I'd be in my
disaster
car.
waiting to happen.
I think, is that our fault? as
'Cause
parents, or is that today's society?
I don't know. That's a tough question.
I
Because
think it's more generational too, because
Yeah, I
these
do too.
kids
Absolutely
are more
Good point.
tech driven. They're more like we worked on our cars. Like
yeah,
I remember driving my car up on a ramp and changing my own oil.
yeah,
I don't even think Sean knows where the oil goes.
yeah.
My son's got a car.
I don't know much
I
about
changed
cars.
the
I'm
oil, I
not-
changed
I'm
the
not a
brakes.
car-
I'm an idiot when
My
it comes to
son's got a
cars.
car and he's got a fucking bent rim, and he doesn't even remember the pothole where he hit. And I'm like, Rocky.
And you buy that.
I was
No,
gonna
I
say,
don't fucking buy
Yeah.
it. But no, you know what? I do buy it because when I listen to him tell me that he doesn't remember, yeah, maybe he's not telling me the truth, and maybe he hit it fucking leaving Chipotle. All right, but because that's where they all go. But that's true. But he's not gonna say, yeah, Dad, you know what? I hit a curb leaving, because he thinks he's gonna get in trouble, and I'm like, dude, you're not getting in trouble.
Yeah,
You need to be.
You get
aware
in
of
more
what
trouble
you're
for
doing.
not telling me the truth
right.
than you do.
Yeah.
And that's,
Like I tell my kids, for big things, you're not gonna get in trouble. Like we're supposed to, as parents, help you through those big things. Like if stupid little things like you lost, whatever, stupid little stuff, pick your thing. But the big things, they need to know that they could come to us with. You want to say stuff, but that.
No, you're right. And
Yeah.
I have drilled into all four
Yeah.
of my kids' head since they were little. Sometimes me and Kara differ on some of the things, but listen, you're drunk, don't get in the fucking car.
Yep.
Call me, I'll come get you wherever.
matter
you are.
what
You're
time.
not in
No
trouble.
matter what time.
We'll
No
talk
questions
about it
asked.
tomorrow.
Yes.
All I give a fuck is that you get home safe.
Yes.
Same thing. Drugs. I know you're gonna try shit.
Yeah.
Don't try this. Don't
Yep.
do this. Once you cross that line and go to a harder path,
Yeah.
it becomes now it's battles with addiction, and you don't know what you're getting. Even with
Exactly.
some of the street marijuana you get today is laced.
Yeah.
That's why I think legalization in dispensaries are such a good thing.
Of course they are.
Because now it's you know where it's coming from. Like you go to CVS, except in the '70s during the Tylenol scare, you know what you're getting.
Yeah.
What?
Razor blades and apples.
No, I know. I know.
They
I know
were
where you're
putting the
going with
cyanide
this.
capsules in it.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's better to have them come and talk to you.
Yeah.
And for them to feel like, hey, listen, you know what? And my kids have been that way. Sean was that way. Like when he wanted to try marijuana, I always said, tell me, and you can call your aunt
Yeah.
and make it happen.
Yeah.
Why
Exactly.
call your aunt?
Well, I couldn't get it at the time.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure.
But Alex, I also told the boys that if they were ever in a situation like at a party and they weren't comfortable, just text like X.
Yeah.
So
that's the
then
same
I
thing.
would call
Yeah, we have a
them
code.
and be
We have a
like,
code.
"I'm coming to get you."
No
So it didn't
questions
look
asked.
like they were the ones going, "I don't want to be here." Just text again, no questions asked.
No
just go
questions
do it.
asked.
But I was watching a video like you're saying about the stuff that's laced. I watched a video today of it was an interview, and this guy goes to another guy, "Are you seriously telling people to do crack?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Because have you ever?" He goes, "Growing up, you saw that same crackhead for 20 years." He goes, "Now with fentanyl, they do it one time and they're dying."
Yeah,
he
yeah,
goes,
yeah. Crack shot.
They were running around like marathons. They were
Yeah.
building stuff. They were doing this. They
Yeah.
go, but with nowadays the drugs that they have now, you don't know what you're getting. They're dying off of one hit.
A few years ago, I picked up a kid laying on a bench. He looked like he was asleep, 23 years old. Hey, we're moving. Nothing.
Yeah.
As soon as you get him out, they start looking at him. The EMTs lift his shirt. Now you got to be careful because now there's a 100 milligram fentanyl patch on his back. Like they don't understand. Like when you start that shit and doctors prescribe it to you, they prescribe you like 5 milligrams, and you have to be built up to a tolerance to it. You put 100 milligrams, it's gonna kill you. You touch it, it might kill you.
Yeah. It's
So you got to be careful. Like,
Yeah.
and they're clear. You don't see these things.
It's terrible, dude. It really is. It's.
I
a
don't
shame.
know why they don't make Narcan available.
It
to
is.
every.
It is,
I went into CVS and they're selling it for $47 a fucking bottle.
but it's available.
I'm talking about go to the police
I
station
understand,
and
Joe.
they
You're-
hand it out.
Joe, you're 100%
and I
right.
leave it in my car. I give one to my kid.
So
and
they do have
something
grant funding.
fucking
They do
happens.
have that, but they're
It's so. It's
but
not
what
easy
happens
to
is
find.
well, it's not a giveaway to the public. The grant funding that's available for that goes to the first responders. those
Understood,
free kids. It's
understood.
not COVID, Joe.
Yeah,
You're not going to get a fucking
no, but Alex,
test.
my point is,
at town.
it's in the high schools. It's everywhere.
But
it's in the schools.
I had this argument at a
And but you're
town
giving
board
it to the
recreational
first responders,
meeting.
which I don't have an issue with.
But people, you know why they won't give it away and they're going to sell it? Because they don't want to admit it's that big of a problem. I would go to East Fishkill Rec.
it is a problem.
Hear me out. Hear me out.
Alex.
I went to East Fishkill Rec, and you'd see needles. You'd see things. We'd find stuff in the dugouts before the kids got there. Okay? And I'm at the board meeting there, and not the Little League board, the town recreational board meeting. And I made one suggestion.
back there.
They were putting AEDs up all over the field, and I said, why don't you put a Narcan kit in there? The blowback I got, we don't have a drug problem.
Right. That's
Then
ignorant.
there's an admitted drug problem there, though.
It signifies
He's right.
something that they don't want to admit.
Right.
And other
Nope,
people
it's
coming
there.
in, other people coming in see it, go, oh, this is not a good area. They have Narcan.
I'd rather come in and say, hey, they're prepared for something that's going to... Dude, it is everywhere.
Yep.
No
It
one's
is-
going to even see that kit in the AED box.
No.
My point is, I think I'd feel more comfortable with my son having it in his backpack just because he's around it. They're going to house parties. They're going to fucking parties that are outside of school. And just because that he has it, to know that it might save him or somebody else.
So then spend the $46, you cheap fuck.
I have my own. I
Looking for a
have
fucking government handout?
I have my own. That's not my fucking
But my
point.
thing is,
My point is, why is it not? That's
my
not
thing
my
is,
point.
why isn't insulin free then? I'd rather have insulin, because when you go down that path, I'd rather have insulin free than Narcan.
That's a good point.
So,
Because the people who need
valid
insulin can't control the fact that they need insulin.
look,
You know, I'm just being the
fentanyl is
opposite.
more exposed than the people that are looking.
More
the
people,
diabetics
more people
or
need
some that
insulin.
Need insulin.
More
I've
people
seen
need insulin.
and he's seen it. I saw a guy driving up the turnpike one time, car completely out of control. I said,
sure.
the guy's dead. Flipped it. I get up to the car. He's eating a sandwich. He was in diabetic shock.
There was a guy that
Yeah,
smelled of
lost it.
alcohol.
Good point. All right.
We thought for sure he was
Nope.
out. He was drunk off his ass. But his insulin.
So
Yeah.
let me just clear my point because I'm coming only from a point of my of the
Chisel,
of
chisel,
the
chisel.
Sistine Chapel.
I don't think
No,
we-
my point is
I know
just
what you're
coming
saying.
from my son is in it now.
And
That's it.
You're coming from a personal
Correct.
thing.
It's
I'm
too
coming
personal.
from.
You're
what-
right, insulin. I didn't
my
even think about
My
that.
opposite is why are we giving free stuff, not to your son who's not at, but for a case of an overdose when people need medical
Agreed.
stuff just to live.
Agreed.
Right.
Very valid.
Yeah.
Valid point.
I think when it comes to the stuff like the fentanyl and like the opioids and stuff like it's so scary as a parent. But I think that the best thing we could do as parents is educate, make them read.
Right.
You know, it's like read up. This is what it can do to you. This is what it does to you. Both of my kids upstairs they will say something or they'll hear something. They will go and they'll read about it. Like my kids know that opioids are bad because they know that it rots your body from the inside out. They're how addicted. They know because now they know the horror stories of what opioids do to people. They're more reluctant to try it because of the fact that they read all the horror stories. Now you
Opioids
listen,
will change your life.
I'm sure they will.
They change
Listen,
who you are.
Yeah.
Listen, I was addicted to opioids.
always stayed away from them, Alex.
I had-
Always because of that reason.
I had
Pain medication.
pain. Before I had neck surgery, they were giving me by the ton.
Right.
And once I had surgery, it was really hard.
Yeah.
to not
See, I wish we
take
started
it.
talking about this
'Cause you
earlier
went
because
from
this is
pain-
a.
You went from pain
Right, I'm like-
to
I'm
now
like 2
being
spots
on
in
it
and
just to
needing it
sleep.
to function.
Yes, yes.
And then when I went off of it, and the doctor suggested rehab, I was like, I'm not going to rehab.
I don't have a yeah.
I don't. There was the worst fucking 2 weeks of my life. I locked myself in a bedroom. I'll never touch one as long as
Yeah.
unless I'm shot. Don't give me anything because it is fucking
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
I'll be the first one to tell you. I like the way it makes me feel.
Yeah.
It's euphoric. You feel very good. I always have a lot of energy. I can
Yeah.
clean 10 fucking houses. But
Come on over.
it's addictive. No, I can't touch
See, I
it.
was
But
the
you know what,
opposite.
though? And
I
that's-
was the opposite. I had to do it just to fall asleep.
Really.
Yeah, no, it turns me the other way.
And that's all. And that's all started with that piece of shit, the fucking Skakel family. The Richard Skakel, those guys that Sackler, the Sackler family.
That bought the company.
That guy was
Purdue
big.
Pharma.
That guy was basically like Pablo Escobar, dude. Like literally, they guys made legally. And the only reason why they stopped to look at their prescriptions is because they tried to come out with 100 milligram OxyContin, dude. People were dropping dead every single day of this. They're running out of OxyContin and they're running to the store to get heroin. It's like, it's such an epidemic. And what these people say is like, oh, let's attack the addicts. Let's attack the addicts. You're going to attack the addicts. Those are the people that are overdosing. It's the reason that they're addicts. No, but the people that weren't addicts, they had a bad back. And they took 5 or 6 of them, and all of a sudden their back felt fine.
Because the doctors...
Exactly.
Instead of correcting the problem, they gave them the medication to make the problem feel like it went away.
Yes.
Yeah, but they also got paid for those sprays.
Of course they
Pharma,
did.
that's what it
Millions.
Then they got paid, hey, up the dosage, more money.
Millions. The fact of the matter is, if you watch all these documentaries and find out about this piece of shit family, is they wound up hiring the head of the FDA back in like the early 90s, and they gave him a job. So he was writing the FDA warnings on the boxes of these OxyContins, saying that it's safe. Less than 1% become addictive. This is the guy that used to work for the FDA and say no. Now the Sackler family gives them multi-millions of dollars. I have such a hard on for that family. I fucking hate them, dude.
Documentary about the guy down in New Orleans, down in Louisiana, whose son died.
Yeah,
Yes,
the
I
pharmacist
did.
or something.
I did.
Yes, and then he went after.
He made it his life's work.
Yes.
But they were giving him such a hard time about going, and
At the pill mills.
the pharmacist. Yes,
Yes.
that was a great documentary.
Absolutely, dude. It was unbelievable.
The pharmacist.
The pharmacist?
Yeah, the kid died of an overdose, and he
Yeah.
made it his life's
son.
Because they made it sound like the kid was an addict.
Yeah.
And heroin addict, and that's why he died. No, he got hooked on pain
Yeah.
medication and then couldn't get it, so he was over. It was New Orleans because he went over to the guy.
Yes,
So
it
his
was New
father
Orleans.
was like, "No, I'm going to make it." So he wasn't, and he'd followed all, and there's just one little place where they were just going in and handing out prescriptions.
Well, this is going to end in about a minute or two. So I wish we started talking about this earlier because this is a great conversation to have. All right, guys, I'm going to turn the thing off now. Listen, thanks a lot for coming tonight. All right.
Thanks, Rich. It was great. And I will say once again, thank you very much for your service.
Absolutely,
to
guys.
Alex
Congratulations.
and Shu.
Thank you.
I
Thank you.
haven't
Congratulations,
seen it.
guys.
Last time I saw this man was playing shortstop. I thought he was the greatest shortstop ever for his age, but clearly, you don't come back, so I don't even know.
I don't think we won a game that year.
No, we didn't. Well, that was
One.
Shu. Shu was at short.
Well, maybe that's the game we won.
I think because I always got a text message that said,
it's about to
"I
run
can't
out,
talk
guys.
Right now.
It's already off. Karis is
No, it's still going. I got another 2 minutes left.
I can't talk
But I
right now.
played with the greatest. I remember the first time he came up, some guy from the other team. There's the greatest softball player in Fishkill.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
To Rich on third base. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Who said that? Guy Gaffrey?
All right, guys. Like I said, thanks for coming, and we're gonna do this again, definitely.
Good night.
Thanks a lot,
Thanks,
Alex.
everybody.
Thanks, Joe Uba, and Josh. We're gonna get Shooting the Breeze to going again. So because of this.
I'll hold my breath.
All
right, guys.
You know we're not done.
Take it easy. Good night. Yo, guys, that was
It went
awesome.
All fucking night.
That was awesome, guys. Thank you so much. Let me stop the recording.